Hey YouTube! It's not about, again, it's not
Many of the tactics used by people who like to have arguments
Hello everyone, and I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Welcome everyone to another Sovereign Citizen Saturday. I was originally going to do Chud Watch today, but as it turns out, you know, Chuds have Christmas too, so there's not a lot of new content out unfortunately, but we should be back at Chud Watch Monday with all sorts of new stuff from those people. So, welcome everyone to another Sovereign Citizen Saturday. We're going to look at some Sovereign Citizens and the crazy stuff they do. We're at a hype train. We're at 63% of level 2, so thank you everyone for doing various interaction stuff. Colossus TV, thank you for subscribing with a 2-month streak. Says boopy doop doo doopity boop. Wagroads13, thank you for subscribing with an 8-month streak. Thank you, Lavender Amberly with 100 bits. MW1642, thank you for the 100 bits. PK the Lost, thank you for subscribing with Prime with a 6-month streak. 6 months of fun and crazy. Wow, half a year. Yeah, it's crazy. Art Zeno, thank you for subscribing with Prime with a 2-month streak. Poet Lover 072, thank you for subscribing with the 2-month streak. Woot, first sub I've ever bought, and of course it's for the best channel. Love you, Hannah. Thank you. I love all of you too. The Profane Priestess with 20 bits. I love to take a moment to enjoy PragerU going full mask off. We'll save that for Monday. We'll save it for the next Chud Watch. I know we do have to watch that. I'm getting buzzing in my ears. I gotta get new headphones or something. These headphones are terrible. And they, like, reverb my voice with, like, some kind of, like, annoying electronic buzz. Jalen Jean, thank you for the 20 bits. Fickett Izzy with 100 bits. Today's good queer book rec is The Disasters by M.K. England. The theme of this book is basically be queer, get in trouble, save humanity, as a bunch of really cool queer characters in the main cast. Most of them are people of color, so it's not just white people, and it's an amazing story about being on the run in space. Very good. That's The Disasters by M.K. England. Sweet. 69% of the level 2 hype train with a minute left. I think I have... I really don't want to wear these because I don't like having stuff over my head, but I think I got it because the buzz is annoying the crap out of me. Give me a sec so I can put these on. I'm gonna look stupid, but at least I'll be able to hear things better until I can get some headphones that aren't broken. How's that? Oh, that's so much better. There we go. I feel like Star-Lord. Who has headphones like this anymore? It is good, though. That's so much better. I can hear myself, but it's not buzzing, so that's nice. 30 seconds left in the hype train. Keep it going, folks. We're so close. 69. Can barely tell I'm wearing them. That's good. I'm glad. I can actually hear my voice louder than I normally do, which is interesting. Probably good. You're not wearing a corn costume, so you don't look stupid, Hannah. Thank you. 10 seconds left. I don't think we're gonna do it, unfortunately. Marcus Drake with 252 bits got us to 80. Ooh! that was cutting it real close. Marcus Drake with 252 bits, and then Wabajack saving the hype train with 5 gifted subs. Thank you. Thank you very much. Innsmouth Swim Team with 200 bits. Good afternoon, Hannah. Have some biddies. Thank you for the bits. Appreciate it. Level 2 complete. I'm gonna have to get some hats on with these on, too. I wonder how that's gonna work.
About the tools of capitalism.
Yeah, we killed this month's sub goal, by the way. The sub goal's 200, we're at 287. Bonkers.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
God, that notification thing is so loud. I already turned it down. Huh. Whatever. Butterfield 60 or Butterfiend 69. Thank you for the bits. Says hi. Hello. You have your blue headphones. Do I want them? These are okay. Thank you though. I actually like the sound quality of these. I can hear myself pretty well.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
It's just, you know, they're overhead, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's fine. I'll be good until I'll buy some headphones on Amazon later.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism. Have you heard that? I heard that somewhere. Altered Rin, thank you for subscribing with Prime with a 5-month streak. Altered Rin says, take my Bezos bucks. Also, fun fact, I might get to do some lightsaber training with the guy who played General Grievous in Revenge of the Sith next semester. That's pretty cool. Might be better to use mine with all the hats. Fair enough, sure. If you want to bring them, I'll wear them.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
35% of level 4. Okay, so let's see what we're gonna take a look at today. We have more Marcel Bassett, the fake sovereign citizen judge. So that'll be fun. Jalen Jean with 20 bits. Mary Cornmiss and Happy Hannah Days. We have some sovereign citizen court stuff. We have some First Amendment auditor people. Now, there's nothing wrong with, like, using your First Amendment right. However, there are these people called First Amendment auditors, and they have a pretty good big crossover with sovereign citizens. I think I'm going to start covering some of them. They basically just go and harass people and film them, and then when they're like, hey, can you please not film me? They'll be like, it's my First Amendment right. And it is, I guess, if you're in public, but, you know, it's also kind of a dick move just to film people when they don't want to be filmed when they're not doing anything. So we'll take a look at some of that. Just some general sovereign citizen stuff. This is what I'm excited about for today, and it's in the title of the video. We have the United States. We have, well, okay. What's the name of this lawsuit? Kent Hovind, Paul John Hansen versus the United States of America. Kent Hovind is pulling some sovereign citizen nonsense and trying to sue the federal government for $500 million. So we're going to take a look at that lawsuit. That'll be pretty fun. And then this is a DMV administrative hearing where there was some sovereign citizen bullshit that might be fun. And then I just searched more citizens. I didn't find any specific videos, but... And then this guy, maybe. Although he's just like a head. He's just like a guy in the dark talking. So, I don't know how that'll be, but we can maybe look at that. Carlos the Tiger with 100 bits. Hannah, have you ever seen the most important show of our generation, Total Drama Island? No, I haven't. I avoided it as a kid because it was like reality show themed, even though it's a cartoon and it's not a real reality show. I was never into it. I don't know.
It's fucking hilarious. I loved it.
Canadian Left support with 30 bits. Merry War on Christmas, Hannah. Did you get anything nice? If you have a spare second, I'd love to hear about it. I got some amazing Tinfoil Tuesday outfit from Baja, which you'll see. I mean, she's gonna show it right now, but also Tinfoil Tuesday is gonna be lit. I'm excited to watch to wear the new Tinfoil Tuesday stuff. Yeah, tinfoil jacket. It's beautiful, and some cool silver goggles. Yeah, they're very cool too to wear. It's so weird, the volume difference. These things are louder than the other ones, but these ones are quieter.
That's weird. They shouldn't be quieter.
They are. It's weird.
Because they were always louder when we would use them, like, with the split.
They're quieter than that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Neko Lillian, thank you for subscribing with a 2-month streak. And I think that catches us up.
You should tell them about the other stuff that I got you for Christmas.
All sorts of cute clothes, some stuff to help hydrate my hair.
Some
eyeshadow, a makeup mirror so I can do makeup and practice it in the living room. Yeah, lots of good stuff. Love you too. I told you you can win today. Okay, so what are we going to do first? Let me turn this music off. And we can get to something. Oh, I need some hats.
What hats do you want?
Maybe I'll just wear this one. I gotta get a thing to get the cat hair off of this. I'll wear my steampunk hat. How about that? Okay, so let's do some sovereign citizens. Let's start with Marcel Bisset, because he's my favorite recently. Let's see what he's doing. He's smoking outside. And he's gonna... This video's entitled, I Will Not Comply. Goodbye, Winnipeg and Corporate Anything.
What's going on, guys? It is Marcel of the Family Bisset Peacemaker Society. Just viewing a message just to say in Winnipeg on October maybe 27th or 28th, they have announced that masks in stores are mandatory. So I will not comply. I have put up a few videos on how to stand your ground, but within my sadness of that happening...
People ask me what I got. So Hannah got me these cool headphones. So they're like wireless headphones, and they have a charging case. And they're super cool. They have active noise canceling. And they also have a transparency mode, so you can like hear your voice through it if you want to. So they're really cool, and they're so tiny.
I'm actually really happy, and the reason I'm happy is all this COVID lie shit proven to be a lie on London Real.
Don't you love when people just claim things like that in videos that are patently wrong?
London Like the City, REAL.TV. Dr. Rashid Buttar, Robert Kiyosaki talks about it, Rich Dad Poor Dad, as well as a whole bunch of other people that are renowned experts from around the world. So within that, my heart is sad that I'm leaving Winnipeg, but Winnipeg's done. This is Nazi Germany shit, and I will not comply. So within that, the reason I'm grateful for it on a personal basis is, if you guys look around, this is our sovereign land. Right now we're just buying...
It's your land, but it's not sovereign. It's your land if you own it. I should say that.
It, and then we turn it back into old title. We've already taken possession, so it's great. You guys heard me talk about the island before. Surrounded by water, it's absolutely fantastic. So this is the orchard, or was. We're going to be replanting it to be some different stuff. And I'm just taking a walk on the property here. So in some of my videos, people have critiqued that I don't seem confident or I speak too quickly. Some people say I sound like a crackhead. I do talk very fast. The reason that is from being in a sales background. So
you don't say.
I did a lot of door-to-door sales and when I was younger, and you have to talk super fast or else people will slam the door on you, right? So I'd have to talk without taking a breath for a long period of time. The other thing is, when I was younger, you know, right now I rush a lot because there's so much to do. One of the unfortunate things is when I do these videos, I know most people out there don't have a background in finance. You don't have a background in banking. A lot of people don't have a background in accounting. So as a salesman, it's hard for me to do videos to a specific demographic when I know this applies to all demographics. So if you're an accountant, can someone double bill you in accounting? No. If you're an accountant, do you have to pay a fraud? No, right? This is our bridge here. Real nice, hey? Anyway, so with leaving Winnipeg, it just makes things nicer and better. I never really liked Winnipeg. I mean, it's been my home since I was 14, so part of me loves it, but it's crazy and I'm getting older, so I need to relax. The other thing I want to address is what I talk about is crazy. Okay, the reality of the world is crazy, but I am not crazy. Don't shoot the messenger. And that's what a lot of people do, and that's why I get upset, or would get upset. Now I'm not. Now, as you guys can see, I'm surrounded by peace.
Marcel, people get mad at you not because you're telling the truth, but for the opposite reason. They're mad at you for spreading nonsense and making a profit off of said nonsense. When you make a profit off of a lie, there's a word for that. It's called fraud. People don't like when people perpetrate fraud on other people. Whether Marcel believes this stuff or not is immaterial. It's untrue. Therefore, he is committing, in my opinion, a fraud on people when he says, pay me thousands of dollars and I'll teach you how to be a sovereign citizen. You can't do that.
The thing is, why I come across so fast is there's not a lot of time. The legal slavery pedophile system, and it is a pedophile system.
Do you want to elaborate, Marcel?
That preys on children. They're coming for everyone's kids, and they're coming to kill the old people by putting the masks over them.
That's the opposite. The masks are meant to protect people with compromised immune systems, like the very old. Why?
A little bit of water there. Here, I'm going to sit on our bench here for a minute. So, before I was just really teaching... Okay, hold on. So, first of all, if I had forever to teach each of you a simple principle, let's say I had forever to go over contract law until you got it. And then let's say I could get into finance law and banking, accounting. Then let's say I get into security interests and how they form those, which are contracts that have value.
Is he into Q stuff? It certainly sounds like it.
Which is what birth certificates are in being slavery bonds. Now,
birth certificates, I don't know where he gets this idea, again, that birth certificates are slavery bonds. No, they're not. They're literally a legal document that just says, like, here's your legal name and your parents, if applicable, and here's the hospital you were born at, and the location you were born at, and your, like, eye color and like, weight, and a bunch of other, like... Just clerical things for identification purposes. It is not a slavery bond. This is a thing some sovereign citizens believe, and I've heard this from multiple sovereign citizens. They basically believe that your birth certificate is a deed of property of some sort of you as a slave, and that countries will trade these with one another like they are a commodity. They're not. That doesn't even make sense. I don't know the origin of this bullshit, but that's what he's talking about when he says stuff like that.
1985 Canadian Ownership, Control and Determination Act. I realize I pushed a lot of people too fast, too quickly, and you guys don't have a background in a lot of the things you would need to know in order to truly understand what I'm saying. So I appreciate why some of you don't know if what I'm saying is true or not, but it is. Contract law. Can anyone force you to contract? No. If it doesn't meet the terms of a valid agreement, is it a fraud? Yes.
Your obligation to follow the law of the land in which you reside, the land in which you are, is not a contract. It just is what it is. You do not have to sign a contract for the law to apply to you.
if it causes you harm without your knowledge, if there's no meaning of the minds, as in they use legalese, not English, and don't explain it. There's so many ways to prove it's a fraud, it's not even funny. And again, I don't care anymore. Well, I mean, I do care. I care very much if people learn, but my personal world is not affected. People think I was upset before because I was losing. I've been winning the whole time. My life is so much better than it used to be. And now it's culminating in getting out of Winnipeg, which makes me super, super happy. So part of why I'm doing this video is Peacemaker Society was set up to be a product. We are going to be opening up people being able to join in membership again going forward, where you'll be covered under our society law. I'm not sure exactly what the monthly membership rate will be, but with membership you'll get all the information to learn. Also on peacemakersociety.org, the code is Peacemaker1, all lowercase, PEACEMAKER1. That gets you the Your Freedom, Your Way How-To Rights package. Go read it all, download it right now, share it with your friends. That's what we did that works. Then go to allrightsreserveduniversity.org, and the code for that is ARRU1. My joint went up. So anyway, so we're walking around the property here. I gave you guys the code. So what is the benefit to doing this? Well, it gets you out of legal debt, because legal debt's a fraud. It gets you...
Again, he's making completely fraudulent claims here. He's claiming that with his service that you can pay for. I've looked at this before on stream. All his videos are set to autoplay on his website too, which I think is the real crime here. But packages from $250 a month to $25,000 a year. Like, he's selling a service, right? I assume this is where he makes money. And he's making claims that he can, like, get you out of debt and all sorts of nonsense that he has no expertise on how to do using this sovereign citizen nonsense. How has he not been, like, investigated by some sort of Canadian law enforcement agency at this point? Maybe he's just under the radar, because even on his own website, only 22,851 people have visited this site. I'm at least 3 or 4 of those visits. But at some point, he's gotta, like, get caught. You know what I mean? He said Peacemaker 1. Maybe that's a different area of the website that applies to.
Peacemaker Society.
I don't know. Either way, it cannot be legal what he is doing, in my opinion.
out of income tax, because income tax is a fraud.
It's not. It's the law.
Supreme case law of Canada, Supreme Court case law, even though they're a fraud too, is 1950.
If everything is a fraud, is anything really a fraud? You seem to think everything is a fraud.
The Lord Nelson case law states the federal government cannot tax people directly. Then also in my research I found that direct taxation on labor is the definition of slavery. Okay.
No. That's not the definition of slavery, as it turns out.
So
slavery would be like owning another person, although that's more specifically chattel slavery. But typically slavery involves owning another person and then using their labor without any sort of compensation. That's not what taxation is. Taxation is something that we pay for to let the government function. It's a different thing.
As you guys can see here, this is paradise. It's our land all the way over there. I'm gonna head back this way now. So within that, this is letting you guys know Peacemaker Society will have membership open pretty much while we're open now. I'm not sure what the rates are going to be. I'll let you guys know. We're just going to finalize that. We're launching a whole bunch of new things under different names that I will not mention the names. But there are free food, well, not free food, but organic greenhouses coming. Percentage will be given out for free to the public. We are also doing no-kill animal sanctuary, and we'll be helping animals not get killed. Also, everywhere around here has all kinds of beautiful nature, from cranes to eagles. We'll be protecting all of that as well as all these really old, beautiful trees. And yeah, we have a couple houses on the property to start. We're going to be bringing a whole bunch of other stuff out.
It kind of sounds like he's trying to start a commune, which is fine. You can do that. I don't know if it's really fair to say that you're starting a nature preserve when all you're doing is buying the property and just building, like, houses and greenhouses on it. He's like, we're gonna preserve all these trees. He's basically using the fact that after buying this property, that he's not going to bulldoze these trees as a positive. Like, not taking action is a bonus when really it would be presumed, I would think, unless it was being developed for something else. Like, none of these trees, to my knowledge, are, like, endangered or anything. He just bought land somewhere in Canada, which, by the way, Canada has, you know, just endless, I mean, that's hyperbolic, but it has a ridiculous amount of, like, unoccupied land, especially in the north, with just wilderness that goes on forever. But he bought this property, and he's like, well, I'm not gonna bulldoze these trees, therefore it's a nature reserve. Is it, though? It just sounds like you bought property that there are trees and animals live on. That doesn't necessarily make it a nature preserve, any more than my property is a nature preserve, because I didn't, you know, remove any trees, and I'm not killing animals on it. You know what I mean?
We have a nice big fire pit, big field to be able to grow food as we go. And yeah, my life is fantastic. I want your guys' life to get better too. If you don't learn your sovereignty, your life's not going to get better, because legal slavery guarantees you're going to suffer. That's what it's for, to make you suffer. They take pleasure from making you suffer. Yeah, anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I could keep going, but anyway, I got things to do, places to go. I'll see you guys in another video. And the reason I was so passionate before is I was trying to reach you guys. I saw a train coming, and I wanted to help you. Yeah, and now it's time for you guys to help yourselves. There's nobody coming to help you but yourself. I mean, we are coming with information, but there's only so much we can do. You know, I can't make people do stuff. You can lead a horse to water.
Is that a tobacco cigarette, or is Marcel partaking of the devil's lettuce? I feel like a lot of his stuff would make more sense if he's just high all the time.
But you can't make it think, right? And just know the legal system's coming for your kids. Who owns the law? You do. You know, I'm wearing my law. I'm on land that's going to be sovereign and old title right away.
Your land is not sovereign.
And thank you guys for tuning in. Signing off from Peacemaker Society Sovereign Land. And I'm out of Winnipeg. And all the people in Winnipeg, it's going to get so bad. Please learn your rights and fight back. Say no. Say no when they tell you to wear a mask. I will not be doing it.
Please wear a mask.
Some of the things we'll be doing.
My eyes are so irritated today, and I don't know why. Ugh. Sorry if I'm, like, squinty or, like, eye-watery.
To make sure that I don't wear masks is order food home from grocery stores, get it delivered, and use personal drivers for that kind of stuff to go get it, and stay on our own land and be self-sufficient. We're getting chickens, we're getting everything. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peacemaker Society, we are the real deal. Join right away. We'll have info up. 204-698-2684, or shoot us an email, peacemakersociety@outlook.com. Share this with your friends. It is real, and thank you so much.
Real.
We're forming real community now. That's why I'd flail out a lot, because it was just a product. But
You ever notice that he has a thing where he'll, like, start saying goodbye, but there's, like, you know, 4 minutes left or whatever? He just keeps going and going and going.
now it's real. The people we invite in will become our family and friends, and we have this land, and we're getting a bunch more to set up free food. Not free food, but food for us and our families, and in time, free food for others. And we will be selling food as well. We'll have weekly delivery packages, all kinds of stuff. We're also coordinating resources for places to get food and all that kind of stuff without needing stores. People are ultimately who you deal with. You don't have to go into a store to buy. And thank you guys so much for your time. COVID's a lie. LondonReal.tv, and also check out Tom McDonald, the rap artist. He has a lot of good truth in his songs too. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Cheers.
Okay, then. Let's do another one by Marcel, but let me catch up on some of these bit messages first. Harry K5 with 20 bits. Hi, Hannah. The only sovereign that applies in Canada is Queen Elizabeth. Butterfiend69 with bits. Imagine being so privileged that the most oppressed you felt is wearing a mask. Kyle Sucks, thank you for following. Tucker White 94. Hannah, pay me several $1,000s and I'll teach you to be a Twitch streamer. That'd be great. I'd love to be a Twitch streamer. Profane Priestess with 20 bits. Hey Hannah, I'm curious what kind of music you like. I like 80s music. I like, oh god, it's a whole smattering. I like postmodern jukebox. I think they're good. I like show tunes. All sorts of stuff. Dragonfly with 30 bits. Thank you very much. Let me find another good video from him. How to make your creditors run away. Okay, he's on hold with someone. There's a bunch of numbers.
Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience.
You could have edited all this out of the video.
Time they phoned, it just left me on hold and they refused to answer and went through to a voicemail. I left them a message that they were a criminal fraud and they called me again. So let's find out what's going on.
Oh, that's his advice? Call your creditors and say you're a criminal fraud? I'm sure that'll work. That holds a lot of legal weight, and they'll definitely stop coming after the money you owe them.
Maybe they'll answer this time. And they just let it ring like once and hung.
Thank you for your patience. All of our representatives are currently unavailable. If you would like to leave a voicemail, press 1 now. Otherwise, remain on the line for the next available representative to assist you.
That's what they said last time, and then it'll just say no one's available.
Collection, how can I help you?
Yes, hello.
I like that he gets proven wrong immediately. And there'll just be no one there, and they're not going to answer. Hello, can we help you? Oh, fuck. Fuck, I gotta do my grift now.
You guys called me, I'm just returning your call.
Okay, just give me a few seconds, I will check for you, okay?
Sure, and I'm recording this, just so you know.
Yeah, my own call is recording too, don't worry.
Yeah. I'm not the one. Oh, go ahead, though, yeah. I have a file number if you want.
Yeah, I need it, just give me a few seconds.
Sure,
I need
sorry.
to pull up the file. Don't worry. Okay, give me the file number.
With all rights reserved, for sure. File number is 143.
Just saying all rights reserved randomly doesn't mean anything.
69151.
Okay, we're looking for the company name is Riley, R-I-L-E-Y. Milton, is your company, sir?
Sorry, you're looking for what?
We're looking for the company name is R-I-L-E-Y, Riley. Is your company?
No, there's no company by that name here. This is Peacemaker Society. We're a competent law jurisdiction government.
I'm assuming that's maybe a previous company he had that has debts, and he's trying to avoid those debts.
Under natural law, and we prosecute legal corporations for a living.
That's my assumption, for the record. I don't know that to be a fact.
Because you guys are a criminal fraud acting on legal personhood, which is slavery in fact. So I would suggest you go check your information, because my middle name is Riley, but there's no company here by that name, and I have a family and a given name, which has nothing to do with the company, and I don't even know what you're calling about. So
Sorry, sir. Maybe you have the recycle phone number. I will delete your phone number right now. Okay?
perfect. Thank you so much. No problem. Then I appreciate it.
Have a nice day.
You
dear.
too. Bye bye.
Okay, so either one of two things has just happened, and he's going to claim victory here. Either this call was genuinely by mistake, and his number is somehow listed as some other company, and he was getting that call by mistake. In which case, they're not actually his creditors, and this isn't a tool that will help anyone who's actually in debt. Or two, the funnier option, he believes that by telling them he's not that company, if this is a company that he previously formed an LLC or something and he is in debt through that company, he believes by telling the creditor, oh, you have the wrong number, and they'll remove that phone number, that he thinks that the debt will somehow disappear. No, they just won't call you at that number anymore, but they'll still come after you for the debt. 2 would definitely be funnier than 1. But either way, neither of these helps anyone learn anything about how to actually deal with their real debt if they have it.
And that's how you deal with that. Who knows what they're even calling about? Obviously it had something to do with me. You notice how when I mentioned criminal fraud and all of that, it went away pretty darn quick. So they're going to delete that, not contact me about that anymore. And again,
Okay, they won't contact you at that number because you said it's not you. But that doesn't mean they're like, oh, that debt's gone now. That's not how that works.
and that is 866-887-5342. 143-69151 is the case file. Their address, 1450 Myerside Drive, Mississauga, Ontario. And this is Canada Collections Collection Service, Collection and Debt Service Act. So again, that's that. That's how you deal with creditors, guys, and that's about how fast they run away. Cheers. Thanks. Bye.
They didn't run away. You potentially lied to them. You're gonna get... Eventually, they will serve you a lawsuit to get that money if you owe them money. You cannot avoid creditors. You just can't. Let me see if there's anything else like that. Because I'm kind of into this at this point. It's very funny.
Okay.
This video is entitled Crimes Against Mankind, Womankind, Jeff Robb, Regional Manager, Rexall, Notice, Fire, or I Bill? Whatever this means.
On this one more time. Let's see Jeff Robb's formal position on this.
You've reached Jeff Robb, Regional Director for Manitoba and Northern Saskatchewan. I'm unavailable to take your call right now. Please leave your name.
Regional Director for Manitoba. I don't know what a Regional Director does and in fairness, I don't even know, like, Regional Director for what? Is he a government official? Is this a Regional Director for a business? I don't know who this person is.
Number and a quick little message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone. After recording, you may hang up or press pound for more options.
Yes, hello, Jeff Robb. My name is Marcel of the family Bassett. I am Signatory Chief Justice to Peacemaker Society.
You're not a Chief Justice. Just giving yourself the title of Chief Justice doesn't make you a judge, Marcel.
Peacemakersociety.org. We are a private law, competent law government. We're global. We're also a private law society.
There's no such thing as a private law government. You can't be a private entity and a government. At least within the bounds of another governmental entity. If you want to go to an island that's uninhabited and unclaimed and you want to say, oh, we're a private government, sure, fine. Do you? That's not the case. You live in Canada. You cannot form your own government.
Which outranks act and statute. So basically the reason I'm phoning is I went into Canada Post at 3:50 p.m. today. There was a lady working at the post office. I was in the process of sending some packages. I went to pay. She advised me that in the future I needed to pay with debit. I told her no, I don't. I said, you can't refuse legal tender. She said, I'm not refusing it. She went to lecture me some more about it. COVID-19 is bullshit. David Icke in London real proved it, so I don't appreciate being given...
David Icke is a Holocaust denier. He just cited a Holocaust denier. Oh, God. That's who I'm thinking of, right? Hold on. David Icke. David Icke is an English conspiracy theorist, former footballer and sports broadcaster. Icke has written more than 20 books. Visited a psychic. Blah, blah, blah. New Age conspiracism. Anti-Semitic forgery. Do we have a Holocaust denial thing? I just want to make sure that I'm not crazy, and I don't want to call someone there we go. Critics have accused Ike of being an anti-Semitic and Holocaust denier with his theories about reptilians serving as deliberate code. Ike denies these claims. I've definitely heard of him before as a Holocaust denier, though, so I don't know. Let me see if it's anywhere else. Holocaust. Oops. Let's see. Ike's next manuscript, And the Truth Shall Set You Free, contained a chapter questioning aspects of the Holocaust. Yeah, there you go. He's a Holocaust denier. Well, there you go.
Suggestions on things that aren't even true. I run a global law firm. I know what the law is. She's not a lawyer. I don't appreciate being given legal advice by her, which is actually criminal to give legal advice when you're not a lawyer and not solicited. And you were so
wait. It's illegal to give. He recognizes that it is illegal to give legal advice when you're not a lawyer, but he's claiming to be a judge, a chief justice at that, when he's not, and his entire business is based around giving people legal advice when he's not a lawyer. Do we see a problem here?
Informed her I didn't want it. She informed me that she didn't like my attitude, telling her I didn't want her advice. So I gave her my card. At this point, I was very polite and punctual and all that. Then she decided she was going to call security and her manager. So I turned on my phone. The manager came. I explained to her. And then security came, started telling me to leave the store. I managed to get my change back and whatever. And then as I'm leaving, your security guard's threatening me with his uncle who's a cop and all this bullshit. You guys can't do that, hey? No corporation can give an order. Limitation of Power Corporations Act. And as I'm a sovereign with a fee schedule, your agents are liable $1 million per infraction, as are you for willful negligence, which is equal to fraud. Limitation of Powers Corporations Act, you can't give an order. This is all recorded. I'm putting this up public. I expect that woman fired, and the next time I go in there, I expect to be left alone to do what I need to do without being obstructed. It's not private. It's public because people are allowed to walk in. You don't need an appointment, and your security has no right to tell me to leave the store when I'm just trying to pay with.
Walking into a store doesn't make it public, right? I think there's a different category, at least in the United States, when we're talking about public or private. Like, a park funded by the government is a public space. The sidewalk is a public space. But like Walmart or any other store that's owned by a private entity is not a public space. Just because they're allowing people in to shop does not make it public just because the public is allowed inside. It's at their discretion. They can decide who isn't there. Assuming this is a private business he's talking about. I have no idea.
Cash.
It sounds like it, but no, he said the post. So maybe, I don't know if he's talking about the Canadian Post Office or if he's talking about like a private, shipping company in Canada. Either way, like, they can tell people to leave. That's completely within their power. At least it is in the United States. If you're harassing someone or not wearing a mask or not following the rules, they can kick you out.
Okay, not to mention your pharmacy is completely liable for vaccines, but that's a call for another day. So within that, peacemakersociety.org, 204-698-2684. And the manager who is there, her name is Annette. I've noticed her, and she allowed all this to happen in the store. I want her fired, and I want the lady at Canada Post fired, or I'm billing each of you $1 million personally. $300, I can have a private investigator get me your home addresses, and for $700, I can do a universal lien. All I have to do is bill you, lien 45 days later, and you're bankrupt. I'm a chief justice. I don't sue. I don't go to court.
Filing false liens on people in the United States, at least, is a felony. I would imagine pretty similar stuff in Canada. You can't go around filing liens on people when they don't actually owe you money. That's illegal. That's tantamount to theft.
Already committed a crime, and I'm already able to financially...
It's theft and perjury, actually, because when you file a lien, you basically have to sign a thing that's like, under penalty of perjury, they owe me this money.
and your agents. But if you fire them, I won't lien any of you. That's my deal. This has all been recorded. It's going on YouTube along with your name and that as well. So please conduct yourself accordingly. A lot of people died for freedom. Act and statute is not law, and you are accountable to common law and natural law. And corporate rules are not law. So I suggest you inform your people not to act like it is. And when they come across someone who actually knows law, not to get them physically almost assaulted by having them thrown out of a store. No one actually touched me, but it came pretty freaking close. And I don't like being intimidated when I'm trying to pay your store cash to...
This guy's a conspiracy theorist. I would argue a chud, because he refuses to wear masks, and he's a COVID denier. He's a conspiracy theorist, a sovereign citizen, a chud, Karen. He's like everything I do. He's like the mascot for the channel.
Do some business. And within that, just so you guys know, I'm not a business. I'm an unincorporated association. We're recognized by the law courts, Volunteer Manitoba, Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce, all levels of the legal system, Judge Corin, you name it. So you guys really fucked the wrong one. If they're not fired, it'll be your ass too. Peacefully, lawfully, and this is going online in about 5 minutes. If you want to call me back and leave me a voicemail, 204-698-2684. Happy to hear what you have to say. That will be played to the public as well. And if no action is taken, then I'm going to bill you and bankrupt you. $1 million per infraction, and I can go after every time your pharmacy or anyone in your company interacts with the public in any way where they don't disclose limitation of powers in their status as a corporation.
His hectic pacing is stressing me out. Like, he's just got, gotta pace around my house while I scream at this guy at 1,000 words a minute.
So I'm very revolted. Rob, I hope you're a good guy. I hope you actually care about corporate standards and doing things right, because if you don't, it's going to cost you a lot. And if you do, you won't hear from me again. So I hope Annette and the woman working Canada Post in the instant who Annette knows who it is, are fired, because if I see them in there again, you're all getting billed. Willful negligence is a crime. It's equal to fraud, and it's up to 14 years in prison and $1 million per infraction. That's our society fee schedule. We're not under act and statute. Educate your agents. And the next time I'm in that store, you guys better leave me alone. I'm recording every time I go in, and it's worth a lot of money to me if you guys don't listen. So I don't care if you do or not. I love getting paid. Have a great day. Thanks. And please instruct your agents. Don't give legal advice to people, and don't tell us what to do. You guys are there to provide a service. That's it. We don't need your advice, and you're not the law. And COVID-19 is bullshit. London Real, David Icke, they put up a show, it's banned. London Real TV, check it out. Anyway, have a good day, bro. Thanks, and with any luck, I won't have to talk to you again. Wish you well. Thanks, bye-bye.
Oh my god, that's a lot of nonsense in a very short phone call. Jesus. Can we do one more? Would that be excessive to do one more? What do you guys think? Does he have any more phone call ones? One more? Okay. Oh no, that one's got a kid in it. I'm not gonna watch that one. Andrew Dice Clay. 4 years ago. He's been at this for a while. Wow, 9 years. How has he been getting away with this for 9 years? Peacemaker Society serves notice to Winnipeg Downtown Biz about unlawful conduct of their agents. Oh, this audio is pretty bad, though. Yeah, no. I can't watch that one. That's terrible. How to get your freedom your way. How to get rights package. Here's one. Peacemaker Society notices Minister of Justice Manitoba. This is from 2014.
Okay, we're going to make call number 2 to Matt. He is the personal assistant.
Do I think this guy actually thinks he has the authority to demand that money? Is he just for the grift? That's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to watch more to get more of a feel if he's a true believer or if he's just trying to basically extort people. I think it's probably a bit of both. I don't think you go around lying about this for 9 years without falling for it at least a little bit yourself. I think he probably believes it. But again, I need to see more of this to suss out his motivations.
To the Swan, Manitoba Justice guy. Andrew Swan, I believe is his name. Let's see how this goes.
Did I catch the David Icke name drop? Yeah, we talked about it. Holocaust denier.
Yes, hello. My name is Marcel of the family Bassett. I am phoning and on behalf of Peacemaker Society, a worldwide recognized self-governing voluntary association government. We have offices in Winnipeg. It's actually our head office. And through misunderstanding or miscommunication or deliberate misprocessing of paperwork, if you will, Winnipeg Police and yourselves, as being who oversees them, have listed Mark Marcel Zerwell as the top 10 most wanted on Crime Stoppers. This is due to the fact that he is actually myself and that I...
Wait, what? He was listed on top 10 most wanted criminals in Canada? Maybe for this fraud at one point.
Identity doesn't even exist under Stats Canada. You guys keep failing to recognize my status as Marcel of the family Bassett, co-founder, signatory, and Chief Justice to Peacemaker Society. Just to let you know, diplomatically speaking, we're in touch with everyone and supported by the leader of the Canadian Action Party, Knights of Jerusalem, attorneys generals, law firms and groups under common law and throughout the United States and around the world. You know, the David Harper of the Cree Nation there, I've been a Chief Justice consulting with them in regards to them opening up their own sovereign courts at the law courts. We're recognized Peacemaker Society, which you can look at www.peacemakersociety.org, O-R-G. And that we are recognized, you know, Manitoba, Province Manitoba, the corporation has funded our volunteers on disability. We're recognized by probation services. So long story short, under abuse of rights doctrine and Clearfield doctrine case law, our private, unregistered, unincorporated law firm in about 2 days is going to send litigation against every single one of your departments if you don't cease and desist all action against Marcel of the family Bassett through the false alias of Mark Marcel Zerwell, currently listed Crime Stoppers top 10. Within that, we're very organized, we're international, and we'll happily make the phones ring off the hook. But I would prefer to deal with this if you can just give me a call back. My phone number is 204-869-3461. Again, my name is Marcel. And if you can get back to me at your earliest convenience and we can dissolve this quietly, I will take no action against you. If you don't, you will be abandoning your public insurance bond and also will bill you personally under abuse of rights doctrine every single agent that takes any action against our society or any of our members in any way using incorrect corporate contracting process, which is abuse of rights doctrine. And again, Clearfield doctrine case law, no corporation can be a government. You guys are all corporate. You're limited liability. You're commercially incompetent. And you're attempting to act against a fully liable, fully competent, sovereign, unregistered, unincorporated man using false contract, which is securities fraud. So again, 204-869-3461. My name is Marcel. Please get back to me. I did speak to Catherine at 783-9860, the executive assistant to Mr. Swan there, and if you guys could please give me a call back, I'd like to get this taken care of. I expect a complete resolution and basically dissolving any warrants which don't even exist. The warrant in question, I was actually who was assaulted. I have the entire thing on audio, and through multiple notices, you guys failed to act. I've cured estoppel through acquiescence, through due process, and cured judgment. So again, everything you guys are saying is frivolous. If you look at the article, Crime Stoppers, Mark Marcel Zerwell, the uttering threats, I don't utter threats. I do tell people when they fail me some.
Mark Marcel Zerwell? Zerwell. I'm sure I'm gonna... I gotta find more information on this guy.
If I didn't have my oath, they would be in trouble. But again, that's not a threat because I do have an oath. I don't threaten people. I'm not a harm to the public, and I'm tired of kind of being listed as, you know, the bad guy in the public there when what we're doing is we're noticing all agencies that you guys are incompetent and going after you. So within that, if you guys want to lean on me, you just look like the bad guys, and within that, you can't find me anyway. So our head office is 201 Portage Avenue, 18th floor. That's where our law firm is, and our worldwide World Mediation and Standards Committee headquarters. So if you need to reach me, again, you have my personal number, or again, our head office, well, just call me personally, 869-3461. Thank you. It's Marcel. Bye-bye. And the number I just called is...
Let me see if I can find any more information on him. Generally. Man who gave $100 to kids' lemonade stand says cash was just a good deed. Oh, God. Winnipeg man who gave a group of Winnipeg kids $100 at a lemonade stand along with a business card for an anti-tax website is speaking out about what he says is a misunderstanding following concerns from parents. But police say the incident, while not illegal, was inappropriate and are looking to speak with Marcel Bissett to warn him not to do it again. Bissett, who identifies as Marcel of the family Bissett, said Monday he was disturbed to read concerns from parents in Winnipeg's Wolseley neighborhood who called police after he gave $100 to a group of 5 kids last Saturday. It was meant to be a really warm, good feeling, Bissett said. Toby McCrae said her sons were selling lemonade at the corner of Lipton Street and Westminster Avenue last Thursday, along with 2 friends when a man handed them 5 $20 bills with a gift card that explained how to make money with your own society. McCrae called police after her son told her he saw the man get into a white van down the street. Bissett said he never got into a van and wants to set the record straight about the incident to put the parents' minds at ease. I don't want them thinking there's a predator in the neighborhood when there's not. I mean, there might be, but it's not me, he told CBC. That's not what you want to say is your pull quote. There might be, but it's not me. I know what he means, but don't say that. Bissett is a member of the Peacemaker Society, a group that doesn't believe in paying taxes, and said he simply wanted to spread that message while supporting the young entrepreneurs. I just walked up, told them it was for the lemonade stand, that I was proud of them for being entrepreneurs, and that I've run stuff through my life, and here's $20 each and a card so you guys can learn with your family. Bissett told CBC he does not pay taxes and that it wasn't his intention to scare any parents, but in hindsight, he understands why parents were concerned. The kids in the moment were really excited. I think it's once they got home and there was a misunderstanding with their parents, perhaps, for the motivation of the incident. Winnipeg police spokesman Jay Murray said the incident is troubling, and while not illegal, police want to talk to Bissett. It's one thing for him to approach an adult and kind of communicate those beliefs, but I don't think it's appropriate for him to talk to minors about this, he said. You can't do this sort of thing. Murray said Bissett is known to police and officers are still trying to find him to talk about the incident. When was this? 2017. Interesting. Marcel Bissett. Marcel. Peacemaker Society. Let me see if I can... There's gotta be more, like, articles about this stuff. You would think, at least. Mark Zerwell. Quatluz. I don't even know what Quatluz is. Here we go. Man charged after Biz Patrol members assaulted. This is from 2011. A man has been charged after a Winnipeg Biz Downtown Watch patrol member was assaulted Wednesday afternoon. Police said an off-duty police officer called for assistance in the area of Ellis Avenue and Edmonton Street around 2 p.m. Wednesday. Police learned that a 27-year-old Biz Patrol member was dealing with an intoxicated person when he was physically assaulted in the upper body by a male suspect. Police charged 31-year-old Mark Marcel Zerwell, which, remember, this is him. With assaulting a peace officer as well as for possession of marijuana. Police said he has been detained in custody. So he was drunk and beat up a police officer. Crime Stoppers Most Wanted, April 2014. Timothy Mitchell, Lawrence, Eric Boyle, Cole, Control F, Mark. There we go. A workplace dispute in January leading to the accused Mark Zerwell to, on several occasions, utter threats to cause the coworker bodily harm. Zerwell, 34, was already bound by a court order to reside at a specific residence. Police soon learned he'd moved without the court's consent, so a Canada-wide warrant had been issued for his arrest. So that's why he was on that Crime Stoppers thing, because he basically, the court was like, okay, you need a residence so we can find you, because you're, you know, being charged with a crime. And he was like, nah, I'm gonna move anyway. Interesting guy, to say the least. I do wonder how he's not in jail. Very, very strange. I'm sure we'll continue to look into him in the future and see how the Marcel Bissett saga continues in the future. Let me get to some bits messages. Dragonfly, thanks for the 30 bits. The Profane Priestess with 20 bits. Hannah, if you like weird stuff, I'd recommend Sky ND. All their songs are about serial killers, tragedies, and the like. My favorites are Jim Jones and Richard Ramirez. Okay. Canadian Left Support with 20 bits. I don't like Creditors as much as the next anarchist, but this is not the way to bring down capitalism, comrade. True. Lily Loves Stuff with 20 bits. Hannah, he's the one who goes on about the reptilians, is he? Pulp Free Fiction with 20 bits. Do you think this guy actually... Oh, I already read that one. Yeah, I don't know. I think he probably believes it based on what I've seen so far. Now I'm starting to lean more towards he completely buys this stuff. Malkill the Evil Wizard, thank you for gifting a sub, Colossus TV, with 20 bits. This guy... Is this guy Vans? Because he's off the wall. Lily Loves Stuff with 20 bits. The closest thing I could think of was a video where someone calls Marcel the vilest person ever. Marcus Drake with 50 bits. For context, every time he says court of law, like there's a difference. Courts of law and equity merged 139 years ago, only 14 years after Canada's independence. And Zurum80 with 100 bits. Hey, Hannah. Have been a fan of you and Jake for years. I've been watching your streams on YouTube. Glad I can finally catch live. Well, thank you for coming live. Welcome. I do want to do the Kent Hovind one, but I kind of want to hold off. How about this? What about this guy just harassing people?
Can you not film my guys on my site?
America. All right? You understand that one? America.
I'm from Alabama. America's gay in Spanish.
I don't speak Spanish. Spanish small.
Okay, well, that in Spanish, that means gay. So you're being...
No, it doesn't. America. America.
What is he doing? He's just shouting America at people?
God.
I don't have a gun. Alright guys, I'm out here at the Tampa Steel Shop. I'm gonna sit there and respect my right to record in public.
Okay, so he's like filming. That's my light. Oh.
I take pictures of everybody. America, English small, English small. My English is very small. Okay. Cause America. I record because of America. Good country. I move here now.
I know, but what you gotta record over here
My family wants me to have a hobby. So I film people that are American.
What is with this, like, he's just pretending to be an immigrant? The voice is not great.
My English no good. I stop talking now.
My name is Jeff. That's what it reminds me of.
No lucky. I like it. I like it. No, I like it. The building, you know? It's good building. Strong. America Mero. Yes. America. You got it right. America. America. Let's go to America. Kick rocks. America. Because I'm an American. America.
This is the most obnoxious personality I think I've ever laid witness to, or bared witness to.
America. Yeah, it's good.
America is good.
Sometimes. No police, no good. Police bad, they beat.
Oh no, man, fuck the police.
Yes, FTP. So I'm on the city sewer right here.
Spanish.
I don't speak Spanish. Spanish small.
Okay, well, that in Spanish that means gay. So you're being.
No, it doesn't.
What they took that as.
No, pato or maricón. I don't say maricón.
Okay. A second ago you said you don't speak Spanish.
I speak small English, small Spanish.
Okay. I'm just trying to talk. I'm not trying to do anything here. I'm just curious what's going on.
Government say Fifth Amendment right. I shut up right now. You go back to work.
Your Fifth Amendment right is to not incriminate yourself to the police or to the courts. It has nothing to do with your interactions with other private citizens.
Okay.
He's a First Amendment auditor and he doesn't even understand the amendments. What an ass.
Fifth Amendment.
The Amendment says slightly different, but that's fine. I'm just curious.
You like it at First Amendment?
Freedom of speech.
All right. Freedom of press too, right?
Freedom of
press.
Freedom of press?
Freedom of press. Freedom of religion. Now get back to work. I'm an investigative reporter working on a story. Okay, now you're making a story about you, and it might not get picked up, but somebody will pick up probably this story. So I need you to go back to work because you're creating a disturbance. You're interfering in my job. Okay?
I'm not interfering in your job. I'm simply trying to carry a conversation.
I'm done.
You're done?
I'm done. I told you what I'm doing. Go back to work.
You're welcome to stay out here and film all you want. Just my guys alone. That's all I ask.
Okay. Tell them not to talk to me.
Don't talk to them. They won't talk to you. That's our rules, our corporate policy. That's fine.
Cool. I don't live by policy. I live by law. I'm out here on the street. I live by law. Okay. There's police right there.
If we need to.
Yeah, it's all the cops. I don't care.
Social experiment.
You think I committed a crime? Wave him
I
down.
don't think you committed a crime. I'm not. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
What's your name?
Being yelled at, so.
I say America. I say America.
The other guy, that's the street. He's right here.
I didn't say, hey, I said America.
That's fine.
I also say America. All right? You understand that one? America.
I'm from Alabama. I said it better than anybody else.
All right. I didn't say no racist. America, America. It's the same thing, guys. It's the same thing, guys. Please leave me alone. I'm a journalist.
Okay.
Pointing a camera at things doesn't make you a journalist.
Yeah.
Do I have what?
I was just curious. Can I contact you any way or form? You're a journalist? I'm just asking for a contact.
I got a lot of tax dollars invested in you.
Huh?
I got a lot of tax dollars invested in you. Can you please go back to work? You're interfering in my job, man.
I'm not interfering in anything on that. All right, you have a good day. Stay on this side of the street. That's my cruise, please.
Oh, I can walk on that side too. Hey, why don't you call the cops then, man? You're quoting false laws, man. Hey, how you doing? Hey, what's going on with you? I'm just chilling on a public sewer.
Welcome to
owned by my
Sume.
city. Taking pictures. Yeah. Don't worry about it. We got a snowflake who's gonna go talking to the police.
The cops are about to show up.
So let's see how this goes. I was standing on the public sewer. I understand your safety, but your safety doesn't trump my rights.
Have a nice day.
Do you have the report number for this, or the? Oh, okay. Well, I'll just call like I usually do. You have the incident report number? That way, listen.
143-496.
Okay, 20 dash.
I just gave it to you, sir.
I understand, but I want to say it back on here. I'm recording it.
I just gave it.
So you just gave it to me?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you tell a judge? What's your name and badge number?
Officer Colonel,
423. Do you have the time? So I can, know about what time this was called in? 1421. All right, thank you. Thanks so much. I'm just going to continue to take pictures, man. They're really concerned that... Yeah, I know, man. I know. But I wanted to make sure that they weren't lying or saying that I went on their property or anything like that. Oh, yeah, definitely, man.
They're Diaz. Thank you for following.
I don't want to violate the law, man.
know that if you're going to be chirping at people or whatever you're doing, they're going to call us.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you like this. When they chirp at me, I'm going to be silent because they...
I like that the cop is just like, all right, whatever. Fuck off. I don't want to deal with you. Just go away.
They're chirping at me first, asking what I'm doing. And all I tell them is, America, I have rights. America. I got one guy over here saying I'm being racist in Spanish. Yeah, man.
It's like he wants the cop to be a dick to him. He wants it because he wants to be like subjugated so bad so he can go on YouTube and be like, look what they did to me. He's like trying to instigate drama. It's so pathetic.
Hey, can I gotta put my mask on right now for the pollen?
Illegal to wear gas. Or it's illegal to wear masks.
I can show you the executive order where that was actually lifted.
It was?
Yes, it was lifted by Chief Dugan because there's such a shortage on masks that we have to use what we can. Right.
You said you had that. Let me see.
I'm not.
You said you had the executive order.
Yeah, I do, but I don't.
I'd like to see it.
Okay, well, show me the Florida statute.
That it's illegal to wear masks?
Yeah, I know. Listen, I'm not gonna argue with you. Okay? I'm not gonna argue with you. But all right, well, I'm gonna wear it like this because I can. All right. When that wind hits, man, I'll go like that. It's the same thing as riding a motorcycle and wear a scully mask. Yeah, I mean, you pulling over people on motorcycles for the mask? No, because they don't want bugs in their mouth. I don't want bugs in my mouth or pollen, man. It closes up my airways.
You don't like this any more than we'd like to have fire to deal with you. So.
I know. I didn't say I don't like you, man. That's crazy.
Why generate the unwanted attention? That's all I'm saying.
Not a problem. All right, man. All right, so we're gonna go back down there.
That's some pathetic shit. All right, to the main event. Here we are. You all know about Kent Hovind, creationist, sovereign citizen, tax protester, and former federal inmate. So Kent Hovind went to jail for about 10 years for refusing to pay his taxes. He didn't collect, Social Security tax and stuff from his employees. He was paying them under the table. And on top of that, he wasn't paying taxes of his own income. He basically was just avoiding all taxes altogether. Went to jail for about 10 years. And he got out, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, something like that at this point. And he's been on YouTube doing his creationist thing ever since. He recently, just in this past year, has filed a federal lawsuit asking for $500 million in compensation from the federal government and some of the other people involved in the case, claiming that they had enslaved him and broken his 13th Amendment rights. So, let's take a look at this lawsuit and how funny it is, because it is pretty funny. So this is a civil rights complaint lawsuit, which he is claiming breaches his 1st, 4th, 6th, 9th, 10th, 13th, and 14th Amendments. That's a lot of amendments to have broken, okay? Come now, plaintiffs. Kent Hovind, an individual, and Paul John Hansen as trustee of Creation Science Evangelism, that's his company, or his ministry, a non-statutory trust, brings this action pursuant to 42 U.S.C. 1983, seeking damages to remedy violations of their rights secured by the following. First Amendment, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the rights of the people to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. He's just going to list the amendments here. We'll go through them briefly. The amendments that he believes were infringed upon, at least. Amendment 4, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Fifth Amendment, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime, unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service, in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Sixth Amendment, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the criminal should have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. This one's going to be important. He underlines the sections that he believes are important here. So let's go over some of these very quickly. The underlined sections. Establishment of religion, free exercise thereof. He believes that he is being disallowed his free exercise of religion by being jailed or at least tried for tax evasion. Untrue. He claims people have the right to be secure in their persons, houses, papers. He's going to talk later in the lawsuit about them basically coming onto his property, Dinosaur Adventureland, which is his business, and searching, stuff. They had, warrants and everything. So that's completely falls on its face. He's claiming that he shouldn't have been held to answer for crimes unless presented by an indictment or grand jury. I think he's claiming because he literally didn't see the indictment itself, like the actual paperwork, that it doesn't count. It's fine. I'm sure there was an indictment. Nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. He's claiming that some of his property was seized, I'm pretty sure, after he was found guilty, and he's claiming that he wasn't given due process of law. Let's see, confronting witnesses against him. He's claiming that he didn't see the actual witnesses, and also have assistance for the counsel of his defense. He's also suing his lawyer in this lawsuit because he thinks his lawyer didn't do a good enough job defending him. Enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. He's basically claiming that he thinks he should have the right to not pay taxes, so the Ninth Amendment is being violated. Same thing in Amendment 10. Amendment 13, which is neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for a crime whereof the property shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. He's claiming that later in the lawsuit we'll see, he's claiming that because you have to collect taxes for your employees, so if you own a business and you have employees and you're paying them, you have to take payroll taxes out. He's claiming that the government forcing him to do his job and take out payroll taxes is slavery. It's not. And then Amendment 14, no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any persons of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. He's claiming that he was denied due process of law. He wasn't. Hovind and Hansen also seek damages for civil conspiracy state constitutional violations pursuant to Florida common law. Oh boy. Notice, though there are 60 counts, most all are the same acts participated in by all defendants, not very much it is likened to 10 counts against the 6 defendants. Notice, this complaint is brought to the jury by the plaintiffs by sworn affidavit, and all statements herein are deemed to be true until otherwise refuted by the defendants individually point for point. Nothing in this document shall be used to diminish the truthfulness of the statement. He's basically saying, I claim that all the claims in this document are true, and the burden of proof is now on you to prove otherwise, which isn't typically how court cases work. They're civilly trying to sue. I'm pretty sure the burden of proof would be on him to prove that the accusations in this document are true. Notice the attached is that supposed to be amendum? Amabum. Don't know what that word means. Let's look. Amabum. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a mistake. Either way. 1, 2, and 3 are sworn to be true, each bearing affidavit signatures. I feel like it's supposed to be maybe addendum. Could be wrong, though. Paul John Hansen is trustee for the Creation Science, what's the last word in that? His business. And plaintiff Kent Hovind hereby sue the defendants jointly and severally. So they're suing them collectively and as individuals. This is a 42 U.S. Code 1983 federal civil rights case under the organic 4th, 5th, 6th, 9th, 10th, 13th, and 14th Amendments of the Bill of Rights of the Constitution for the United States of America as applied to the states and federal governments against the defendants for individual and collective personal, malicious, and unlawful violations under color of state and federal law of plaintiffs' individual and collective rights. Defendants committed these unlawful violations of plaintiffs' constitutional and states' rights under the color of state law in bad faith and with malicious purpose and reckless, wanton, and willful disregard of plaintiffs' rights. When he says the color of law is something that has the appearance of law but is not actually legal or constitutional. So they're saying, the police came in and they tried me, but I think it was kangaroo court, and I think this is all bullshit. It's not law, it is color of law. That's his claim. Jurisdiction and venue. The plaintiff brings this action pursuant 42 U.S.C. 1983 for violations of civil rights under the 4th, 5th, 6th, 9th, 10th, 13th, 14th Bill of Rights amendments as enumerated by the Constitution for the United States of America. This court has subject matter jurisdiction. This is just them explaining why they think, the court has jurisdiction over this particular matter. Every lawsuit needs to do this. Preliminary statement introduction. This is an action for money damages, declaratory, and injunctive relief brought pursuant to 42 U.S.C. 1983 and the 4th, 5th, 6th, 9th, 13th, and 14th Amendments to the Constitution of the United States of America and under the laws of the state of Florida. It's always Florida. Why Florida? Why do? Section 1983 allows defendants to be found liable as they have acted under color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of the state or territory or the District of Columbia. Each defendant acted under color of federal, state, and local law. This case involves Amendment 14 to the United States Constitution, which provides, Section 1, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States of the state wherein they reside, enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the United States, deprive any person of life, liberty, or deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. The amendment is enforced by Title 42, Section 1983, United States Code. Basically just says everyone's, equal under the law. As directed and affecting violation of the Constitution guaranteed rights under the 4th, 5th, 6th, 9th, 10th, 13th, and 14th Amendments to the Constitution for the United States of America to be free from 1. The imposing of the United States written law in land that is not evidenced as being land of the United States as defined in Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 17, Constitution for the United States of America. This is where things start to get interesting. So, Kent Hovind is claiming in this lawsuit when he says, the land is not evidenced as being part of the United States. Kent Hovind is claiming that his business, Dinosaur Adventureland or whatever the heck it's called, he's claiming that his land, which resides in Florida, is sovereign and not part of the United States. He is saying because it is literally not federal land owned by the federal government, even though it resides in the United States, he is saying that therefore federal law does not apply on his property, and that his property is sovereign from the United States. This is what we like to call stupid. You cannot claim that land that you own within the United States is not a part of the United States. There are some people who do it as a joke, like there's a micronation called Molossia, but like it's a joke, right? They're not actually claiming to be sovereign. Kent Hovind is unironically trying to say that his property does not reside in the United States, despite being geographically located there. 2. The imposing of written law upon plaintiffs Hansen and Hovind that are not evidence as acting in the land of the United States as defined in Article 1, Section 18, Paragraph 17 of the Constitution of the United States of America. 3. The imposing of United States of America written law upon plaintiffs that are not evidenced as having any contract or contact with the United States of America. So this is them trying to cover, okay, we've already said that we're not part of the United States, but also they believe that even though their business, Dinosaur Adventureland, resides in the state of Florida, does, business in the state of Florida, presumably using banks and having people, in Florida come in and out and do business, and I'm sure they have vendors within Florida that they do business with. They're claiming that they have no contract or contact with the United States of America. Untrue. As to plaintiffs not being secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches, as to plaintiffs' loss of physical liberty, arrested, as to workers of CSE, international offensive conduct, police brutality against Joe Hovind, a CSE ministry worker, as they arrested her at gunpoint at 7:30 a.m. in her nightgown and refused to give her an opportunity to change her clothing without evidence as required in the Fourth Amendment. So apparently Joe Hovind at some point, which I'm guessing is his wife, I could be wrong. It seems that they were arrested at some point in the morning, and they were not allowed to change their clothes. That's unfortunate. That sucks. But they don't have to let you do that. Like, I get it. That sucks. Would it have been nice for the cops to let her change into something? Probably. But they don't have to do that. As to workers of CSE, fear of imminent peril from armed U.S. officers assigned to execute arrest warrants. As to CSE and workers of CSE, forced by threat, armed robbery as to being forced to unlock the CSE safe, and defendants taking of CSE money. They're basically saying the feds or local cops, whoever carried out the arrest warrant and all the other warrants that were involved, came in and said to the employees of the park, hey, you need to open the safe for us. We have a warrant. Open the safe. We're going to take your money, which they're legally allowed to do. We can talk about, like, asset seizure and, like, the morality of it, and that's a completely different issue, but it doesn't change the fact that under the law, which is what we're talking about here, because he's trying to sue the United States federal government for $500 million for his alleged constitutional violations. He's claiming that them exercising a search warrant on his property and seizing his property after he refused to pay taxes for like a decade. He's saying that they were like forced at gunpoint and were under threat of duress. Yeah, that's how the police work. That's how the police work. It sucks, but don't cheat on your taxes for 10 years. I don't know what else to tell you. As to CSE and workers of CSE, and as to the property of land of arrest and seizure with no evidence of any warrants, probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation. Now, he's claiming that there was no evidence of warrants or probable cause. I'm going to go ahead and disagree. They definitely had probable cause. Like, I can go online right now and show you. Hold on. Kent Hovind literally made, like, whole VHS video series on how to avoid paying taxes and not to pay taxes. And I'm sure they had records that they could be like, oh, this guy hasn't paid taxes in 20 years. He says in this video that he hasn't paid taxes in 20 years. Like, they definitely had probable cause. We gotta watch that video on stream sometime. Anyway. As to CSE and workers of CSE not being informed of the nature and cause of the accusation as to the jurisdiction claim over the man, and as to the jurisdiction over CSE, and acts against the ministry as to the fact that no man has attested that the activity of the subject case charges occurred in the land of the United States of America, as enumerated in Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 17, Constitution for the United States of America. Once again, falsely claiming that his business does not reside in the United States, even though it is, geographically, in Florida. His land's in the United States. United States law applies to him. Surprise. As to CSE and workers of CSE not to be confronted with the witness against them as to the above elements of the alleged crime, and the taking of CSE property. So the Constitution does say that, like, you have the right to see your accusers or whatever. In this case, your accusers are the federal government, and you were able to, you know, talk with their investigators, and in court, you were able to address the claims being made by the IRS, who was probably the plaintiff, if I had to guess. I don't know exactly how that sort of thing works, but it was probably the IRS or the federal government large was the prosecutor, and they did so. And you were able to be there with representatives of them, and then you were able to try and rebut their claims with your lawyer, which you failed to do. So, you had your day in court. As to Hovind not having the effective assistance of counsel for his defense, for the attorney stopped defending when threatened by Judge Rogers when the counsel started forcing proof of the elements of the alleged crime. He's claiming his lawyer sucked and therefore should be liable. As to Hovind being prosecuted with no evidence of a complaint or warrant supported by oath or affirmation. Again, pretty sure there was evidence. In the official record, thus not charged as a matter of law, Hovind was never constitutionally charged. As to Hovind and Hansen not having certain rights, as the court administrators Rogers' practices had effect to deny or disparage others retained by the people, such as biblical fair trial, as such was denied when the presiding Judge Rogers threatened Hovind's attorney. He wants a biblical fair trial. Kent, you can't have a biblical trial. We live in the United States of America. Your First Amendment right and everyone's First Amendment right means the government can't establish a religion, and doing a biblical trial would be establishing a religion. We have secular courts in this country. You can't have a biblical trial. As to CSE denying the land and property rights, independence from the U.S. that belongs to the people. No. Straight up no. You are not being denied your land and property rights because the United States government laws apply on your property. That property is yours if you own it, right? That's yours. That's great. You gotta pay property taxes, probably. I don't know Florida's property tax laws. But, like, you can't just be like, I am exempt. This land is sovereign. That's not how it works. As Hovind being denied access to legal papers to form a meaningful appeal due to being moved approximately 25 times during his appeal window and a total of 32 times total during his 8.5 years of incarceration. So he's claiming that he didn't have access to legal documents to form an appeal because he was moved 25 times during his incarceration, or during his appeal window 25 times, and then 32 during his entire stay in prison. I don't know how often people get moved in prison. I really don't. I don't know if that's excessive or if that's pretty normal or if it's lower than normal. I don't know. I can't speak to that. But I don't understand why being moved from prison to prison would stop you from getting legal paperwork. I'm sure if you requested stuff that is your right to have for an appeal. I'm sure they'd be able to get that for you, especially if you have a lawyer. I'm sure the lawyer could take care of that. Oh, is there a troll? I always love when there's a troll and I don't even see their messages. That's fun. Exculpatory evidence was withheld from Hovind, and there was no sworn complaint to legality and formally initiate the criminal proceedings, and there was no originating sworn statement in the official record, so therefore Hovind was not charged as a matter of law. Due process violation. I would imagine, again, he spent like 10 years in prison, and they arrested him, and there was a trial. His lawyer definitely would have brought this up if there was not some sort of initial, like, grand jury indictment or some other kind of indictment. I'm sure that exists. If there wasn't, you might be right, but I don't think that's the case. And I don't know about the supposed exculpatory evidence. Exculpatory evidence would be evidence that would basically show that he's innocent. He doesn't say what this exculpatory evidence is supposed to be, so. As to Hovind and CSE, both were subjected to prejudicial and negative national publicity and personal humiliation without any sworn claim of a crime or sworn evidence before the court of land jurisdiction, as is the required subject matter jurisdiction, pleading evidence to complete the sufficiency of the pleadings before the U.S. court. So, he's mad that he got negative publicity and a lot of people mocking him for getting arrested for this. The court has no power over that. If it were found that he was actually innocent of this, maybe he could claim, I don't know, some sort of damages because his reputation had been hurt by these, but I don't think that's how it works. Defendant's misconduct. As a direct and proximate result of the acts of defendants working together, oh good, he learned the term proximate cause, good for him. As a direct and proximate result of the acts of defendants working together, plaintiffs suffered the following injuries and damages. At all times relevant to this complaint, defendants are as follows: United States of America, an entity. Margaret Catherine Rogers, an individual, presiding criminal trial U.S. attorney. The estate of John David Roy Atchison, former U.S. attorney. Mitchell Heldmeyer, an individual U.S. attorney. Scott Schneider, an individual IRS criminal You get it. He's suing the government, the judge, the attorney that was the prosecutor, IRS investigators. He's suing everyone who was involved in his trial, including his own defense attorney. On or about March 1st, 2004, Hovind founded the ministry called Creation Science Evangelism to basically expound on the truths of God's Word, the Bible, and the Lord's relationship to all creation. I'm going to pause real quick. I'm really sorry. I have to use the bathroom very, very badly. I'll be back in just a sec. Alright, sorry about that. Back at it. CSE existed by documented of record as a non-statutory trust and has no contact or contract, no legal nexus business with the United States of America. Again, he's claiming that his business that is registered in the United States does business in the United States geographically with United States citizens. I'm sure, again, he has vendors in the United States, and it's literally in Florida. He's claiming he has no contact with the United States, which is just absolutely untrue. That is a complete lie. On July 13th, 2006 at 7:30 a.m., after the CSE was operating with no known legal nexus with the United States of America, a SWAT team led by the United States of America federal agents representing themselves as acting officially in official uniform, consisting of more than 20 individuals, all brandishing United States of America issued assault rifles, surrounded the house with the post address 29 Cummings Road, Pensacola, Florida, where Hovind and his wife were sleeping, which was property land owned by CSE Trust Ministries. Then on the same morning, the same armed United States of America agents went to all surrounding ministry property and arrested all ministry workers, numbering 35. The arrested were then separated and then individually interrogated for up to 6 hours before allowing them to return to their respective housing. Which sucks. I'm sorry your employees had to be subject to questioning by the federal government. Maybe don't commit federal crimes. Don't commit federal crimes. And I'm sure, hey, look, is a SWAT team excessive? I would agree. I would tend to agree that a SWAT team is probably excessive to go and pick up Kent Hovind for tax evasion. I agree. And that's why I'm in favor of, like, police reform and not dealing with this stuff the way that it's currently dealt with. But it doesn't change the fact that you broke federal tax law, and they're going to come and arrest you, and they're going to question your employees because you broke the law. On or about July 13th, 2006, Hovind and Joe Hovind were presented an indictment from a grand jury proceeding. Okay, well, earlier he was claiming that he was never presented with an indictment from a grand jury, and that was one of the reasons that his rights were infringed. But here he's saying, on July 13th, he was presented with an indictment from a grand jury. So why do you think you were denied these things when you literally are saying you got this? With a case number, and then there's the case number. Upon which both were soon arraigned under, with the recorded pleas of not guilty, with the challenges to personal jurisdiction being asserted by Hovind, and then the same challenge was ignored by the presiding administrator, Margaret Catherine Rogers. So he's saying at the time they were indicted, and then they were arraigned. At the arraignment, they put in their plea of not guilty. And Hovind, we've seen this in Sovereign Citizen videos, even though the arraignment is not the time to start making legal arguments, you're just there to put in a plea. He said, like, I don't think the United States government has jurisdiction under me. Prove to me that you have jurisdiction to me, a citizen, that I don't believe I live in the United States, even though my business is in Florida. Doesn't typically go well. By order of a Margaret Catherine Rogers, all CSE trustees were barred from joining the case as a defendant. Okay. Soon after the arrest, Hovind and Joe Hovind retained counsel Alan Stewart Ritchie by paying $50,000. That's actually not bad. As someone who's had to hire, lawyers before for some shit, That's just the retainer, though, I guess. It's a pretty big just retainer. But if we're talking about lifetime payments, that's not too bad. But yeah, it seems like a retainer. To make the appropriate judicial challenges and necessary defenses as when needed, Hovind retained the lawyer as defense counsel for an additional upfront fee of $50,000. Joe Hovind counsel and fee being independent of Hovind's payment. An additional $50,000 has also been allocated to legal fees associated with Hovind and CSE as related to this case, subject from the year 2006 to 2020. On or about September 2006, the case was tried. The case ended with Hovind and Joe Hovind being found guilty of all charges, ending in sentencing Hovind to 10 years in prison, $430,000 structured fine, and $700,000 in restitution to the U.S. IRS, with 3 years of strict supervised probation. Also, Joe Hovind with 1 year of imprisonment and 1 year of supervised probation. So they ended up owing the federal government, what is that, $1,130,000. All things considered, it could have been worse. I guess I don't know what Hovind is pulling in terms of money, but like he's been doing this creationist grift for years and years and years. So not paying taxes on yourself personally or for any of his employees for like 20 years, he probably got off pretty easy. $1,130,000. It's not nothing. But he could pay that off and eventually, go on to still make decent money. 2004 CSE revenue was approximately $2 million. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, he could pay this off in a number of years. I know a lot of that, I'm sure, goes to upkeep and stuff. But, you whittle away at that. He could get back to making a decent amount of money and paying his taxes appropriately, and he'd be doing fine. Let me get to some of the bit messages real quick. We'll take a quick, brief bit message break. Dirtiest, thank you for following. Daddy Sume with 29 bits. And all around D-Bag, don't forget that, Anna. The Shadow Witch with 30 bits. Dang it, I'm gonna say it again. Come get your Florida, Spain. We're sorry. Mitchell Drummer, the 13th Amendment literally says enslavement is okay. In prison, actually. I'm not kidding. Yeah, Netflix has a documentary about it called The 13th. Lily loves stuff with 20 bits. Too bad until the 13th Amendment when you were in prison, it's okay to be enslaved. Wow, someone didn't read, huh? Wind Chanter with 30 bits. Saw a sovereign citizen in the wild. Their license plate claimed they didn't need to register their vehicle. I'm sure they get pulled over a lot. Aren Yi... Oh, God. Aren Yigard did nothing wrong. Thank you for following. The Gentle Gamer, thank you for following. Butterfiend69... don't understand why they think this would work. I have no idea. Indignity Jones, thank you for following. Enreath with 30 bits. Damn, Hannah, this is a bop in regard to the music I was playing earlier. And then Dr. Gamble with 20 bits. You're out of order. You're out of order. This whole court's out of order. 2005 revenue was $2,250,000, and then 2006 revenue was $2,500,000. Like, it's good. That's pretty good. Every year, it looks like, at least between 2004 and 2006, his income was going up. Not income, I should say revenue. Sorry. Revenue for his business was going up, $250,000 a year. That's good growth. I'm just saying, like... he should have just paid his taxes. He probably would have been doing pretty well right now. He still probably is, honestly. A lot of people like Kent Hovind who are, like, creationists. On or about February 19th, 2009, CSE collapsed and CSE products sales ceased due to Margaret Catherine Rogers' court determination that CSE was an alter ego of Hovind. Therefore, CSE was deemed as a non-existent by court order. So at some point, the court, looking at the finances of CSE, basically said, okay, this is just Hovind. He's just using the company to hide his money, to hide his income. We're going to dissolve this entity. They have the right to do that if you commit crimes and are using your organization as a piggy bank like that. To this day, CSE does not operate due to fear imposed by Catherine Rogers' orders. I mean... they dissolved the organization. It no longer exists. You still are doing stuff, Kent. CSE had its land and most of all of its property having a present value of $3 million taken by the United States of America. Court on September 19th, 2009. See appendices as hereto attached. So they seized his property. Honestly, if it really had a value of $3 million, seems like he'd be paid up. But maybe that was a separate thing. Maybe the $1,130,000 was what was left after he had already had his property seized. Or maybe the property seizure is just a completely separate issue. I don't know. CSC lead speaker Hovind was generally invited to speak at approximately 30 churches worldwide weekly, on average in 2006, but in 2020 it is 0. Hovind is striving daily to regain his and like ministry's popularity since his release on August 7th, 2015. Hovind, soon after being greeted at home to a notice of divorce, forced removal by his own son with aid of the police to get off the one CSE ministry land, ending with close to full separation from all his family members and immediate family, including all his beloved grandchildren. Oh no. This just got so personal and sad. Oh god. Okay. So Hovind's wife served him with divorce papers, and he apparently was trespassing on property, with the family on it, and the police, along with his son, removed him from said property. That's pretty sad. Plaintiff's allegations against defendant United States of America. Oh, good. Let's see what he's accusing the United States of. That defendant United States of America, by various policies and or customs employed by its agents and officers, enabled false testimony and false evidence to be used against Hovind and CSE at trial. Case number, there's the case number, in the United States District Court, Northern District of Florida. Specifically, the defendant United States of America, in an open court by various policies and customs, enabled false testimony and false evidence in the subject case in 2006 that, 1, Hovind and CSE had a legal duty to be employed in collecting taxes, keep an account and safekeeping of funds, and then pay over the same funds as federal income taxes and FICA taxes to the United States of America for each ministry worker. Yeah. You are required to do that. That's not a grievance that you can list. I mean, you can list it. It's just a waste of time. You can, yes, the government can force you as an employer who is employing people and paying them. They can force you to withhold employment taxes from them, all the various taxes that apply at your federal, state, and local levels. That's a thing. That's a responsibility you have as a business owner with employees. You have to do it. That's not some grievance again that you can have. It's just how it is. Hovind and CSE was involved in a regulated activity that required collection of taxes for the United States of America. Hovind and CSE was involved in an activity in land where the United States written law had force and effect upon Hovind and CSE that required collection of taxes for the United States of America. Hovind and CSE had ministry workers that were required to pay taxes over to Hovind and CSE for the United States of America. A lot of these are just him being mad that taxes exist. Hovind and CSE had a legal duty to attain an EIN, which is basically a tax ID, it's employee identification number. Yeah. You use this, again, to file taxes as a business. Hovind and other CSE were qualified or eligible to obtain an EIN license from the United States of America. Hovind, blah, 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 subject to involuntary servitude as a statutory trust or as a man possessing inalienable rights, as to being forced to be a tax collector for the United States of America under threat of arrest, long-term imprisonment, and mass financial loss. So again, he's claiming that the 13th Amendment is being violated because he thinks him being forced to collect taxes from his employees' wages and other things within his business, presumably, is involuntary servitude that he's being forced to do under threat of imprisonment and financial loss. He's just mad that there are responsibilities as a business owner to collect taxes. It's not slavery, Kent. It's not. Imagine being so entitled that your business is making like $2.5 million a year in revenue, and you're mad that you have to take a little bit of clerical time to figure this stuff out. Honestly, he probably had enough money, he could just hire someone to be, someone who deals with all the tax stuff for him. Just hire someone whose job it is to do that. But no, doesn't want to do that. Whatever. Hovind or CSE ministry workers had a legal duty to file or pay taxes or have withholdings collected for the United States of America. No evidence exists that any ministry worker had a legal duty or were qualified to file and pay taxes to the United States of America as a matter of law. So he's saying, you think I need to pay taxes? Prove it. I think they did, Kent. They sent you to jail for 10 years over it. Many agents and officers of the United States of America, by its various policies and or customs, enabled false testimony and false evidence by multiple witnesses that gave much of the above same false testimony without any of such agents or officers noticing any officer of the court of the same false evidence. The United States of America agents and officers, by operation of various policies and or customs, failed to inform that Hovind or CSE had a moral and legal right to a response from Schneider and other IRS agents as to the many letters written to Schneider starting in 1991, many sent to other IRS agents as to any legal duty that may apply to Hovind and CSE as were highly germane to the criminal case. Plaintiff allegations against defendant Margaret Catherine Rogers, an individual. I believe she is the judge. She was the judge in the case, I think. An officer employed by the United States knowingly allowed a false and misleading evidence to be used against Hovind. Yeah, I think she's the judge. Specifically, the defendant, Margaret Catherine Rogers, in open court knowingly allowed false evidence that 1. Hovind and CSE had a legal duty to be employed in collecting taxes, keep an account and safekeeping the funds, and then pay over the same funds as federal income taxes and FICA taxes to the United States. Again, same claims. He's just mad that he had to collect taxes, basically. Again, claiming that the land is not subject to United States law, which is total bullshit. It is. Again, the EIN thing. Just mad. Mad he has to pay taxes. Still mad he has to pay taxes. I wonder if he's paying them currently. He's gonna go back to jail if he's not. Claiming that they gave false testimony. Plaintiff allegations against defendant, the estate of John David Roy Atchison, former U.S. prosecutor. These are the same allegations against the prosecutor. These are against Mitchell, another U.S. prosecutor. It's just repeating, so I'm just kind of skimming through, because we get it. He's mad he has to pay taxes, and he thinks his business isn't on U.S. soil, even though it is. IRS investigator. Attorney. He's suing his own defense attorney from the first trial. With, again, similar stuff. Count 2, false imprisonment. Okay. So those were his claims about how he thinks the initial shit was bullshit, okay? Now he's going to claim he was falsely imprisoned. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates by reference paragraphs 1 through 51 above. Plaintiff was arrested with no sworn complaint in the official record that meets the Fourth Amendment requirement as found in the Bill of Rights of the Constitution for the United States, which is the custom and policy of defendant, even though earlier in this document he directly cited the date on which he was given an indictment by a grand jury. But, you know, whatever. Don't let that get in the way of your bullshit, Kent. As described more fully above, all the defendants as agents of the United States of America, while acting individually, jointly, and conspiracy, as well as under color of law and within the scope of their employment, caused Hovind to be falsely imprisoned in violation of constitutional written law. For Hovind, as a man of right, cannot be arrested by warrant and then prosecuted without the defendants meeting the requirements of the said Fourth Amendment Bill of Rights. As a result of this violation, Hovind suffered injuries, including but not limited to emotional distress, loss of reputation, loss of revenue, loss of relationships, such as a divorce after 42 years of a blessed marriage, followed by a complete abandonment by son Eric, daughter Marlissa, and all grandchildren, with close to no speaking engagements as compared to being booked up in advance for 18 months prior to the conviction, as associated with speaking in 30-plus countries and 50-plus churches, and before more than 50,000 people yearly, before he set the said arrest in 2006, where all this false notoriety started and Hovind's popularity vanished. So he's basically saying, hey, me being put in jail and convicted of tax fraud and being put in prison for 10 years ruined my life. And it probably did. Kent Hovind went from being one of the most popular, like, creationist voices out there and going to churches regularly and stuff. And now he just spends all his time on YouTube, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being a YouTuber. I also do YouTube. But, like, it's definitely a fall from grace for him. He still has property. He has Dinosaur Adventureland, so he's clearly doing okay. But apparently he's been estranged from his family, which is very sad for him. But again, that's just sort of a natural consequence of him breaking the law and getting everyone in trouble and ruining his reputation in life. It sucks. I get it. But the court is not liable for that. You broke the law. The misconduct described in this count was objectively unreasonable and was undertaken intentionally, systematically, with willful indifference to Hovind's constitutional rights. The misconduct described in this count was undertaken pursuant to the policy and practice of the U.S. Attorney's Office and the International Revenue Service as a manner is described more fully above. Count 3, equal protection. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates by reference paragraphs 1 through 51 above, as described more fully above, defendants, all while acting individually, jointly, and conspiracy, as well as under color of law and within the scope of their employment, denied plaintiff equal protection of the law in violation of constitutional rights. It's interesting that he's claiming conspiracy. It's not just that he's claiming that they, like, mistakenly, you know, messed up and were trying to do their jobs. He is claiming that, like, the judge, the prosecutors, the IRS investigators, and his own defense attorney, whom he picked personally, were all conspiring to put him in prison even though he did nothing wrong. That's quite a claim. Specifically, these defendants actively participated in or personally caused misconduct in terms of abusing select people who are deemed in conflict with the state and federal unconstitutional agendas to govern the American people beyond its constitutional authority, all done in a manner calculated to coerce, confuse, and secure unjust convictions. Said misconduct was motivated by adverse political animus and constituted purposeful discrimination and religious persecution. It also affects the masses by show of blast imprisonment in a grossly disproportionate manner, vis-a-vis sending a message to all observing Americans, just as practiced in communist China, the nail that sticks up gets hammered down. He's claiming that because he is a Christian, he was discriminated against, and they went after him personally. There's no evidence of that. The misconduct described in this count was objectively unreasonable and was undertaken intentionally with willful indifference to the plaintiff's constitutional rights. The misconduct described in this count was undertaken pursuant to the policy and practice of the U.S. Attorney's Office and the IRS in the manner described more fully above. It was the policy and or custom of the United States of America to fail to exercise reasonable care in hiring and training and monitoring its officers, including all defendants, thereby failing to adequately prevent constitutional violations on the part of its policy enforcers, as acting in direct violation of the plain Fourth Amendment Bill of Rights as afforded to a man and man's entities. So now he's claiming, he was claiming conspiracy earlier, but now he's just saying the United States of America was negligent in the way they hired and trained officers, both police officers and officials, IRS investigators, the judge, stuff like that.
Anything but inspect this temple of capitalism.
Hey, Lance, thank you. Welcome, everyone from the raid. The Surfs just raided. Everyone, I'm sure you've already followed Lance over at the Surfs TV,
right,
but if you haven't, please go and check out the Surfs. Hope your stream was good. We're taking a look at sovereign citizens today. Sovereign citizens are individuals who basically think the law doesn't apply to them. And right now we're looking at Kent Hovind. Kent Hovind being a creationist who went to prison for 10 years. He has filed a lawsuit against the federal government for $500 million. So we're taking a look at this lawsuit and basically laughing at how silly it is. So welcome. We do Sovereign Citizens over here, which is very fun. We do Chud Watch a couple times a week, where we look at people like The Quartering or Sargon of Akkad or Tim Pool, and we kind of make fun of them and point out where they're wrong. We do Tinfoil Tuesdays, where we look at conspiracy theories and do debunkings. It's a lot of fun. So if you like what you see, feel free to give me a follow. Lance has said I'm very based, which is nice. So anyway, let's see where we were. As a result of the above described policies and customs of the United States of America and all other defendants to believe that their actions would not be reported by supervisory administrative officers, that misconduct would not be investigated or sanctioned, but would in fact be tolerated, encouraged, and financially rewarded. The above described policies and customs demonstrate a deliberate indifference on the part of the United States of America to the constitutional rights of free independent men like plaintiff in America, and were the underlying cause of the violations of plaintiff's rights alleged herein. Basically, here he's claiming the IRS investigators, the judge, and everyone, they knew they were doing things illegally, but they thought that their bosses wouldn't only do nothing about it, but they in fact would get raises for it because financially rewarded. No evidence of any of this, but whatever. Count 4, state-created danger. Defendant United States of America is liable for policy and custom of allowing its officers and agents to seize people and property and prosecute without oaths or affirmation in the official recorded complaint of the Fourth Amendment, such as was established in the year 1791 Bill of Rights. Defendant United States of America agents who are accustomed in doing said acts without first evidencing or even evidenced as of this day. If Hovind or CSE was qualified, eligible, or had a legal duty to obtain an EIN and withhold any taxes for the United States of America. So now he's claiming, again, he was mad about the EIN thing earlier, and now he's saying, hey, they didn't even have evidence that I had to file taxes. Kent, the evidence that you have to file taxes is that you are a business operating in the United States of America that is making revenue, and you are paying employees. That is evident. Everyone knows how that works. And if you don't know how that works, then you shouldn't be in business. Defendant United States of America agents are accustomed to doing said acts without first evidencing if Hovind or CSE was doing any business in land where the legislative authority reaches is limited in Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 17 of the Constitution for the United States, as associated with each charge against Hovind in 2006. Defendant United States of America agents are accustomed in doing said acts without first evidencing if Hovind or CSE had any legal or contractual duty with any withholding for the defendant. Again, he is trying to claim that his business, which operates in Florida, is somehow not under United States law jurisdiction. It is. If your business operates in the United States of America, you have to pay your taxes. Kent, you went to jail for a decade. You can't do this. Count 5, malicious prosecution. Defendant, United States of America, is liable for the policy and custom of allowing its officers and agents to maliciously prosecute Hovind and ministries such as CSE. Defendant, United States of America, agents are accustomed in bringing multiple fatal tidal waves of force against the plaintiffs, and in doing said acts of prosecution without first evidencing if Hovind or CSE was even subject to the charged written laws. Americans have never consented to unjust force upon the weak in our society by any government, especially the most powerful one in the world. It is charged by plaintiff that event was religious persecution and unconstitutional state expansion in nature.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
Again, he's claiming that there was no evidence for his crimes, but he also cited earlier in the document the grand jury indictment, which presumably came with evidence. And again, he's claiming religious persecution.
Right,
Kent, you're not being religiously persecuted. You didn't pay your taxes for 10 years. Sorry, I'm just reading some stuff. Okay. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates by Unlawful seizure. Defendant in the United States of America is liable for policy and custom of allowing its officers and agents to arrest and seize plaintiff's property without due process. United States of America agents and officers seized $52,000 from CSE safe during the raid of July 13, 2006, without court order, warrant, or judgment by forcing a ministry worker, Joe Hovind, to unlock the CSE safe with threat of, if refused, they would force the safe open. I would imagine they had a warrant. It's possible they didn't. If they didn't, then maybe he actually has a grievance. But, again, it's Kent Hovind, so I don't necessarily agree. And we can talk about, police seizing money. I agree. Probably questionable, but, I don't think he has... I don't think he has a leg to stand in here. I'm pretty sure asset seizure is legal within Florida. So, we can talk about morality, but that's not what this is about. This is about this court case, which is legal. Count 7, armed robbery. Oh, he's going to claim that them taking the money is armed robbery. U.S. is liable for the policy and custom of allowing its officers and agents to do acts of armed robbery. The U.S. agents and officers seized $52,000 from the CSE safe during the raid of July 13th, 2006, without court order, warrant, or judgment by forcing a ministry worker at gunpoint to unlock the safe. Verbal threat. If not opened, they would force the safe open. Again, I morally think that asset seizure is questionable depending on what's going on, but I don't know the context of the actual stuff happening. He's claiming they didn't have a warrant, but I kind of doubt that. I kind of really, really doubt that. And yeah, seizure isn't robbery. Count 8, coercive power. United States of America is liable for their policy and custom of applying coercive power through the ranks of its agents and officers to act with disregard for constitutional limits and rights. Agents and officers seized and arrested Hovind with CSE assets, as formally stated, adding that such acts are done with the attitude that crime pays. The more collected, the greater chance of employment and advancement for the violator. Out of 10 million confiscations done without law, only a few are stopped, thus ending the gain. Violation far outweighs the cost. Again, crime pays. U.S. employees that collect, regardless if they lack constitutional authority, get advanced. He's basically saying, if they take my money, they'll get a raise. So that's not cool. United States is liable for policing and custom of allowing its officers and agents to do unconstitutional acts, knowingly accepting benefits, hundreds of millions from unconstitutional behavior. Claiming asset seizure is unconstitutional. Agents and officers seized and arrested, as formally stated, adding that such acts are done with a custom and policy of take, blah, 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 blah. Let me see if it gets interesting again, or if we need to bail out, just because he's repeating himself so much at this point. Moore against Margaret Rogers was the judge. Unlawful seizure, armed robbery, coercive power. Yeah, no, that's not how that works. Same claims. Misconduct, unconstitutional. Comparing it to communist China again. Right-wingers sure do hate China. I get the Chinese government shit, but again, just always with the communist China. State-created danger, again, malicious prosecution, unlawful seizure. We're not even halfway through this document, by the way. It's just a lot of repeats. State-created danger again. He's just repeating himself so he can get all the defendants. Yeah? Okay. That's probably good for the Kent Hovind thing. I just find it very interesting. Like, did he write this? Because I can't imagine a competent lawyer looking at this. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so don't take anything I'm saying as legal advice. But the fact that he's trying to claim that, like, he doesn't have to pay taxes. He's still claiming this. How can he possibly try and claim this? A lawyer would never sign off on this. I can't even imagine. Prayer for relief. Let's see what he wants. Let's see what he wants for this, and then we'll call it a day. Kent Hovind requests this court grant them the following relief jointly and severally against, or severely. No, severally, I was right, sorry. Against the named defendants. Judgment for compensatory damages against all defendants in an amount to be deemed at trial. Declaration that the conduct and actions against the plaintiffs carried out by the U.S. Treasury Department, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the U.S. Bureau of Prisons to be declared unconstitutional, the U.S. Treasury Department, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the U.S. Bureau of Prisons, their employees and agents, including but not limited to the defendants named in this action, be enjoined from further implementation of unconstitutional practices and policies. So he's claiming all the arrests and everything they did, the asset seizures, he's claiming it's unconstitutional, and therefore they should be disallowed from doing so in the future. Judge Margaret Rogers, conduct in suppressing plaintiff's testimony and sentencing plaintiff Hovind to prison be declared unconstitutional. Actions of defendants jointly and severely be declared unconstitutional. Plaintiff Hovind's conviction and sentence be vacated in the interest of justice. Sanctions against the various defendants. Compensatory damages from pain, stress, humiliation, mental anguish, punitive damages, attorney's fees, interest and cost of suit, as well as any other relief the court deems appropriate. Here's a long list of unreasonable requests, and also whatever you want to give me, please. Kent Hovind hereby demands their right to trial by jury, where no administrative dismissal is allowed, and all facts and laws are determined by the majority vote of impartial jurors, with no alliances, contracts, oath, remuneration to, from, with either party, which is likewise also enumerated in the, he wants a jury trial. Oh, Kent. Has this been dismissed yet? I have no idea, but... Oh no, what is this? What? This is just him talking. This is an addendum about his damages. Let's read this. CSE trustee and longtime friend Paul Hansen asked me today what damages were done to me in the CSE ministry as a result of the unlawful actions of the defendants in this case, and how much compensation is justified. That is a soul-searching question. Just as the damages done by a drunk driver caused an accident that kills a man's family and puts him in a wheelchair for life cannot ever be repaid, there's no amount of money that will ever fix the damages done to me, my family, and the CSE ministry. Obviously, there was great damage done to my good name and my reputation, so an open public apology from each of the defendants would be a great place to start, but I hold no hope of that happening. That's good, at least his hopes aren't up. People who do these things to innocent people certainly should not have a badge or authority to represent our great country. I would agree if you were innocent, Kent, but you're not. You are on camera. I have the video of you being like, I haven't paid taxes in 10 years. And that was in the 90s. So you went on to not pay taxes for like another 10 years. You didn't pay taxes for like 30 years, either personally or for any of your employees in terms of what you have to when you are employing people, their payroll taxes. You're not an innocent victim. You broke the law. Is this Kent Hovind? Yes, it is. I gave my heart to the Lord Jesus Christ in 1969 when I was 16 and have sought to please and obey him ever since. Ooh, kinky. I was receiving about 30 invitations each week to travel and preach from all over the world. This case destroyed my good name and effectiveness to spread the gospel. What is that worth? I'll let the jury pick a number. Me and my wife Joe and I were childhood sweethearts, married in 1973. We're both virgins on our honeymoon. Why do I need to know that in a legal document? I don't need to know if you were virgins on your honeymoon. We're loyal to each other for 43 years. The July 13th arrest, the day before our July 14th anniversary, likely conveniently planned by some of the defendants. I very much doubt they were like, ha ha ha, let's get them the day before their wedding anniversary. I doubt it.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
We had 3 children and 5 grandchildren, all serving the Lord with us in the ministry. She's 5 feet tall, the church pianist, and a music teacher, and is the least dangerous person on the planet. Okay. She was arrested at gunpoint in bed and was not allowed to get dressed or go to the bathroom. What's the first thing you want to do when you get up? Sure, I would agree, and based on how he described the police arresting his wife, it seems excessive. I would agree. I think they probably should have let her put some clothes on and maybe pee real quick. I understand. But that doesn't mean that the entire process was polluted because of that. That's just a problem in general with policing in America, right? You are not exempt from paying taxes because the police are dicks when they arrested you for tax evasion. She was taken in handcuffs to the courthouse in her nightgown due to her being terrorized by the entire ordeal. She soon stopped writing to me or visiting me in prison. Upon my release from prison, she made me sleep in a separate room until she filed for divorce. Florida is a new no-contest state, and the divorce court hearing lasted 6 minutes. This just sounds like he's aggrieved by the fact that his wife left him. On the way out of court, I asked her to marry me again. Oh, this is just sad. Yeah, big oof. I agree. Could you get me a water? I have a glass. Thank you. Sorry, my throat's just getting scratchy. She, afraid of the defendant's further actions against me, said no and has not talked to me since. Oh no, Kent. Kent. Oh no. No. She didn't divorce you because she was afraid of the defendants. Thank you. Of course. The defendants being the United States government. She probably divorced you because your crimes put her in these situations and she can't deal with you anymore. What's the cost one can put on the defendant's evil actions that broke up a loving marriage? How can anyone put a dollar figure on that? $50? $50,000? $50 million? $500 million? Certainly punitive damages to teach them not to do this again to anyone are in order. I can only show why only effectual punitive damages can curtail such lawlessness, conspiring behavior. I ask the court, or the jury, to prayerfully decide this. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I raised my 3 children in the church ministry, and they all lived around me and worked beside me every day. I helped my son Eric go to Bible college to study to be creation science evangelist like me. Upon his graduation, he began helping me taste some of the hundreds of requests I was getting to go preach at churches and schools. I helped him build his house 2 doors down from us, and his 3 children were the most loved grandchildren on the planet. I read them to sleep every night before my arrest. I wrote 15 books for them while I was in prison. We were a very close, loving family. I helped my daughter, Marlissa, go to college and to be one of my secretaries to handle the hundreds of phone calls I get. She worked in our ministry from the time she was a child. She asked me to perform her wedding, which I was honored to do. It's been played over 50 times on America's Funniest Home Videos. Please watch Dr. Hovind's daughter's wedding and see what a loving family we were. She and her husband lived next door also. He was on America's Funniest Home Videos? Okay. Due to the actions of the defendants, she and my son Eric are still to this day terrorized by the events and people surrounding this case and are afraid to be associated with me, their own father. Neither they nor the grandkids have ever come to visit me in 5 years since I've been in Lenox, Alabama, just 70 miles away, in spite of my repeated invitations, and they never call or invite me to family events in Pensacola. What is the dollar figure on the damages done to destroy a loving Christian family, all simply working hard to spread the word of God? Again, it's not about your religion. You just didn't pay your taxes for a decade, for multiple decades. Don't do that. What would you want if they did this to you? I'm sorry, I can't put a price on that. I'll let the jury decide. Damages to the creation ministry. Our CSE ministry was producing videos and books that were reaching people worldwide in 42 languages. The record shows that the ministry was bringing in about $2.5 million a year, growing by $1 to $2 million a year when I was arrested. Or sorry, is it $1.5 million a year? $500,000 a year. Just that loss of revenue would be about $70 million so far and climbing every year. My health is great, and I think I'll preach another 20 years, praying my ministry outreach via DVDs and books would continue for many years. In addition, our ministry was inspiring scores of others to go out and do likewise. I'm sorry, but I can't put a dollar value on the souls lost for eternity due to the defendants' actions to destroy this ministry of God. Yeah, you can't That's not actionable. Through our preaching and teaching at schools, churches, radio debates, and universities, etc., many thousands were coming to the Lord and being strengthened in their faith in God's infallible word each year. I was getting hundreds of invitations each year to preach. I preached in all 50 states and well over 30 foreign countries. Since my return from prison, this has dropped to near zero. The effectiveness of the gospel outreach was stopped. Only Satan or one of his helpers would want that to happen. Yeah, accuse the court of being in league with Satan. I'm sure they'll love that. In 2006, when the arrest took place, the CSE ministry had property and equipment valued at $3 million. A sworn itemized list will be available to the court's evidence. That all disappeared due to the illegal actions of the defendants in this case. Based on my 51-year track record of giving everything to the Lord's work, I know whatever damages the jury awards will go right back into the gospel ministry to win souls and spread his word. And then it's just, you know. One of the addendums on the lawsuit is the 10 Commandments. Don't know what that's supposed to do for you. Okay. And then it's just, you know, evidence or something. That's just a picture of the envelope he sent it in with certified mail. Yeah. That's a big yikes from me. That's gonna be a big yikes. Yeah, Kent's kind of out of his mind on this one. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I can't give legal advice, but if your legal strategy is to claim that the United States law doesn't apply to you, even though you're in the United States and operated a business in the United States and are a United States citizen, you're gonna have a bad time. Don't do that. Thank you everyone, by the way, who followed after that raid. I'm not going to get to all of you individually because there's a lot of them, but I appreciate it. Indignity Jones with 50 bits. Raid bits. Daddy Sume with 20 bits. He absolutely wrote this himself. Feels like it, doesn't it? Tucker White, what is this fan fiction we're reading? It's legal fan fiction from Kent Hovind. Butterfiend69, someone tell Kent that if God is real, he allowed this to happen because he didn't want his family to be subjected to his insanity. Hey, Jesus said, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. Pay your taxes. Yeah, this is not going to go anywhere for him, and I don't know why he's trying. He's desperate. It sounds like he's really, really cut up about his family abandoning him, but again, don't get them in trouble with the feds, and maybe they won't do that. I don't know. Desecrator. Thank you for following. Takes me a bit, but I get it. That's enough Kent Hovind. Let's do some other stuff. Some other sovereign citizen related stuff. That's just Kent Hovind's official channel. What's this one? Sovereign citizen is arrested and cries in court after judge doesn't buy his BS.
CR 53420.
See how this one goes.
Here you were arrested. I don't understand the charges. Resisting arrest. Denied.
The audio's not that great on that one. What about this one?
Alright, you guys. Social Security and Administrative Office, Logan, Texas. First Amendment audit. Let's see how it goes.
Oh God, it's another First Amendment auditor. Hey, if the cops are doing things, you have the right to film them. I agree. But there are these people called First Amendment auditors that will basically just go and harass federal employees just for funsies. It's not great.
Not gonna lie, I'm nervous about this one.
Let's talk transparency here. Going to see the 17th district. Here I have some extra something.
At least he's wearing a mask.
There's the poster 7. And she's trying to block me.
Yes, sir.
This lady here. Could I get your name and badge number, man?
My name is Schultz. It's right there on the thing.
What's your ID number?
Don't need to give you an ID number.
You are if you're trying to hinder me from doing my investigation, man.
Dated 07/29/19.
Excuse me, man.
There you are. Take a picture of that. That says that you cannot do it.
No, man.
That's the
Poster
information
7 right here gives me the authority.
Hi,
man.
this is Schultz.
And I would really like it if you
Hi,
got
this is
out of my
Schultz.
personal space. I would really like it.
I gotta find a better one. The First Amendment auditors are interesting, but I don't find them as interesting as full-on sovereign citizens. Moorish beef. Are these Moorish citizens that don't like each other or something? That'd be kind of funny.
Problem, I am not a Moorish Science Temple Moor. But don't go to the Moorish Science Temple thinking that they are the answers to everything that's going on. Period. Don't go to them. They don't even have no credibility. None.
For people who are here from the raid, Moorish citizens are... It always sounds weird to explain. Moorish citizens are kind of a subset of sovereign citizens. They tend to be African American. They believe that the United States indigenous population were actually not what we consider Native Americans, but in fact were black people, and that chattel slavery didn't actually happen, that it's a myth, or that it at least didn't come from Africa. They believe that, you know, black Americans are descended from an indigenous population of black people in the United States from a nation called Morocco. They believe that the United States used to be called Morocco and that it was indigenously populated by black people, and then white people showed up and, you know, history kind of happened as we know it, and they think white people made up fake history. Yes, there's a real country called Morocco. I'm aware of this. It's in sort of northwest Africa. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about, they think there is a country in America called Morocco that used to exist. And they believe because of this ancestry that the laws don't apply to them, and that they can claim sovereignty from United States law.
They don't call themselves Moorish people in Morocco. I talked to a brother last night about this. They don't call themselves Moorish people in Morocco. I talked to a brother last night about this. Listen to me. Listen, I want y'all to get what I'm saying to y'all. All of these Moors doing these videos on YouTube and Facebook talking crazy. I will call your bluff.
I'm guessing this guy is like against the Moorish citizen stuff.
Will call your bluff. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said you don't have to condemn a dirty glass of water. I didn't call you out, family. I never called you out. Let me tell you something. Go back and do. I think you're a little slow, to tell you the truth. But my request line is open. But I never called you out. I called you out. I called out what was going on with Brother Taj. That's what I did. You're calling people out. I never mentioned your name, not one day in my life. I don't mention your name, and there's no need to mention your name. Don't need. Yeah, no, nobody cares about. Yeah, how many people care about my radio show? Let me embarrass you right now. How many people?
This one's bad too. I gotta find a better one.
English languages.
Ugh. It's all sovereign citizens sitting around. Where are the arrests? Where are the traffic stops?
The government has a special limitation. They are required to consider you innocent until you're proven guilty.
We're allowed to take.
Here we go.
Stop law. We're allowed to take the vehicle.
That's not a law, sir.
It is not, ma'am?
No.
And at what point, how did you determine that it's not a law?
Live stop is a program, correct?
Okay. And it's a legal tool for us to seize vehicles that aren't registered from license from.
This is a car. This is not a vehicle.
That's interesting. I usually hear sovereign citizens say the opposite. This is not a vehicle. This is not a car. This is a vehicle. Now she's doing the opposite. Sovereign citizens believe that you don't have to have a license or registration or insurance to drive on public roads. In the United States, of course, that's untrue. In all 50 states, you have to have a license. You have to have your car registered. Whatever. She's having her car seized because she doesn't have these things. Looks like she also has a kid in the car. I always hate when they do these interactions with kids in the car. It's not great.
Traveling. I have a
She said the thing. Traveling.
Car is not a vehicle?
No, it's not. It's two different terms. One is a legal term that you guys use when you're trying to do this.
Well, here's it, ma'am. Whatever arguments you have, you determine with a judge.
I'm not signing anything.
You don't have to sign anything,
I'm not consenting to anything either. You're violating my natural rights.
Okay, well, it's something you'll have to take up with a judge, ma'am.
No, it's not.
Just let
him. No, I don't have to consent to anything.
Well, we're not asking you to consent to anything.
You are.
We've seen this one before.
I'm under duress. You all have guns. I'm outnumbered. You have your lights flashing. You're trying to force me into a contract to sign a piece of paper so that he can take my car away. I'm not signing anything.
Okay, well, that's fine. You don't have to sign anything.
I didn't break any laws.
But we're going to ask.
And I asked for you guys' delegation of authority orders. You have yet to produce it.
Ma'am.
Sovereign citizens are also pretty obsessed with delegation of authority. Basically, whenever they're confronted by law enforcement, and again, I've discussed this many times, I agree that we have huge problems with law enforcement in the United States. ACAB, all that stuff, I totes understand. But sovereign citizens go to the other extreme, where they think absolutely no law applies to them as long as they say it doesn't. So, if anyone comes up to them in a traffic stop or whatever, you know, their blinkers out, they don't have a license plate, they don't have their car registered, they don't have a driver's license, whatever it might be, you know, reasonable laws that, you know, we enforce for good reason. They basically tell the cop, what authority do you have over me? Can you prove you have authority over me? Can you prove the law applies to me? They get stuck in this, like, loop where they'll ask the same questions over and over again, and even when the cop will present to them, hey, here's evidence that, you know, the law applies to you, they never accept that evidence.
When I ask you to exit the vehicle, please.
Can you please produce your delegation of authority order?
Just exit the vehicle.
Nazir, this is not a vehicle, Nazir. It's a car.
Ma'am, would you mind exiting your vehicle, please?
Why do I need to
out the car? Nazir, shut up.
The kid, it sounds like a kid. I could be wrong. Sounds like a kid, though, who's maybe filming this, is even like, just get out of the car. I'd rather not see my parent get shot today.
Program, as you so say, we have the legal authority to take this vehicle. So whether you consider it a program,
but I have to consent.
No,
I do not consent.
If you had to consent to be arrested, no one would have ever been arrested in the history of arrests.
The state gives us the authority, ma'am.
The state has to be here to take my car.
The state,
He is a representative of the state. He works for the state.
The state is a private corporation.
That's just untrue.
The state is not a private corporation.
Yes, it is.
It is a
in law, it is, sir.
Okay, well, listen. All of this you could discuss with a judge at any point down
Why
the
do
line.
I need to discuss it with a judge? I'm serious. I'm just asking questions.
Because you're talking about legal terms and you're talking about specifics.
You're trying to force me into a contract and take my property.
Ma'am, when you sign for a driver's license, you voluntarily enter into a contract with the Commonwealth.
Okay, so what
already, Miss, you already entered into the agreement that you will be bound by the driver's code and all laws that refer to vehicles or cars or whatever term you want to use, ma'am.
That's not true.
Again, that's something you discuss with an attorney and a judge.
I have to sign my signature for you to take my car.
You could refuse to sign. You're allowed to refuse to sign.
I do not consent to anything.
But again, we're not making you sign. You can.
You
are.
You have to sign it in order for me to take. For you guys to take it.
You can refuse to sign.
You're forcing me into a contract.
No, I'm not.
You are attempting to.
You can refuse to sign.
I refuse to consent. I don't consent.
You can refuse to sign. Okay. So
I do not consent. I asked for your delegation of authority order.
So I'm going to ask you to please exit the vehicle.
Do you have a delegation of authority order?
Please exit the vehicle.
What law have I broken, sir?
Just exit the vehicle.
Yes.
Are you going to cooperate?
Go.
Nazir, can you stop?
This poor kid.
You have a license? Yes, we have a license. So you're choosing not to cooperate with us?
I'm asking you, why do I need to exit the vehicle? Can you answer that for me?
If you exit the vehicle, I'll do my best to answer any questions.
Okay, so if I exit the vehicle, you're going to force me into a contract and take my car?
I am not forcing you into a contract.
You're attempting to.
No, I'm not.
I feel threatened. You have a gun.
Why are you feeling threatened?
Because look how you're standing there.
Let me ask you a question, ma'am. When you need help, who do you call?
Not you. I don't call the police.
Who do you call?
I don't call the police.
Well, okay.
A few moments later.
No delegation of authority order produced.
They got her out of the car somehow, though. Poor kids. Seriously. Awful. Reddit, am I being detained? There's a subreddit for this stuff. Let me see if I can get some good videos from that. Am I being detained? Top this week, maybe? I think there were 2 kids. I think there was a younger kid in the back seat. These are Scottish cops with a Scottish sovereign citizen, or freemen of the land, they're called in the UK often.
Am I obliged?
I know I've just asked you this again. I'm just going to ask you to confirm the last time. You're not going to give us your details.
Am I obliged?
You're going to give us your details. You are under Section 165 of the Road Traffic Act because you're driving a motor vehicle on a public road.
Can you cite me the law that requires me
to provide? 165 of the Road Traffic Act.
That's an act and a statute, it's not a law.
Are you going to step out of the vehicle?
See, this is what I'm talking about in regard to them getting in loops. He's like, what law says that I have to, you know, do whatever thing he's not doing? The Traffic Act, yada, yada, yada. That's not an act. That's a statute. Like, he can't... What law? The one I just named. Yeah.
Am I required to do so?
Are you going to step out of the vehicle?
Am I lawfully required to do so?
You're going to be arrested, so...
Under what crime have I committed to warrant my arrest?
Obstructing a police officer in the course of his duties.
Can you...
Alright.
Have you got a warrant for that? Have you got a...
Ooh!
Shit, man. Yeah, you can't be doing that, right? That's assault, mate. I'll put it in my pocket, please. Put it in my pocket. No.
That's a quick one, but a good one nonetheless. Short and sweet. Last month? What top last month?
7643, the people versus Philip Christie.
The motion, the court will consider it. Mr. Christie
must recognize us as prisoners of war, exempt from trial. Your Honor, that flag has fringes on it, which means it is a military flag, which means this court is a military tribunal. You must recognize us as prisoners of war, exempt from trial. Our
Mr.
motion...
Christie, I don't care how many fringes, bells, and...
Yep, that's not how that works.
Wayne Tertelget, he is not represented by counsel.
This is just one of the best of all time. I'm gonna watch this even though we've already seen this one.
Wayne Tertelget, he is not represented by counsel here today. Mr. Tertelget has been charged with 2 misdemeanor offenses, which we'll be trying today.
I must object. I am not the name that he is referring to. I am the living man. The name that Mr. Riley refers to, ma'am, is held by the state in all capital letters and is identified by the state on the state's driver's license, ma'am. I am not the all capital fiction. I am the living man whose mark is that of life. It is called a signature, and the nature of this sigil, ma'am...
It's hard to hear. I can get a better... Hold on. Living man.
Object. I am...
This one should be more audible.
Ernie Wayne Tertelget, he is not represented by counsel here today. Mr. Tertelget has been charged with 2 misdemeanor offenses, which we'll be trying today.
I must object. I am not the name that he is referring to. I am the living man. The name that Mr. Riley refers to, ma'am, is held by the state in all capital letters and is identified by the state on the state's driver's license, ma'am.
How do you think that hat smells? Probably not great.
I am not the all capital.
And I know hat smells. It's actually not bad. I got new shampoo and conditioner that smells pretty good.
Fiction
I don't know what his like soap situation is though. He lives out in a cabin in the woods, so.
I am the living man whose mark is that of life. It is called a signature, and the nature of that sigil, ma'am, is the living person. It is never in all capital letters.
Mr. Cataldi, you will allow Mr. Riley to continue
Ma'am,
with voir dire, and you will have an
I must
opportunity-
object, ma'am. Without proper evidence of oath and bond as required, and I am backed, ma'am, by 20 United States Supreme Court cases to this end, it should have been brought to my hand more than a month ago, and no evidence has been brought forward of any competency of any of this. I have to speak for myself, ma'am. No one here is capable of doing it, and particularly those that are bar or non-bar. They can only speak, ma'am, to the legal. My interest is to forfend my person's living name.
Your Honor, this is an improper objection in violation of the motion to eliminate.
Objection.
I like that the lawyer starts to explain why the objection is not legally sound, and the judge is like, I know, we know. You don't have to finish your sentence. Save your breath.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
Mr. Riley again.
Ma'am?
He has his 30 minutes. Then you will have an
Who can tell the living man
Mr. Cataldi.
in a commercial event such as this,
Sir,
who has the right to tell the living man when he can speak and when he cannot speak, what sounds he can make and what sounds he cannot make?
The judge. When you're in a courtroom, the judge can decide that.
you understand?
He is addressing British law, ma'am. He is a minister on behalf of Great Britain.
I'm going to hold you in contempt if you continue to disrupt this.
Ma'am, without oath and bond, contempt has already been established here.
30 days in jail, or you will be removed
In the
from
face of all these witnesses, ma'am, where is the evidence of oath and bond, ma'am?
cannot talk.
Look,
Now, do you continue to disrupt?
the requirement is right here, ma'am.
Okay.
It is through all ranks of the court, ma'am. I have done due diligence and due process, ma'am. Eye to eye. I faced those who would come against me. I communicated properly. I backed up my work. I backed up the research. It's nice and neat. And I have total failure. I have total incompetency of the court because there is no evidence of Mr. Riley's office, nor of yours, ma'am, nor of this lady's here, nor even the fine police officers that are here today. I have nothing to work with now. Now I'm out here hanging over the abyss. I must make my own way.
And you will be allowed that. But allow Mr. Riley.
Why, please give me an honorable answer, is a British recognized esquire asking questions in an American courtroom?
The living man, we've seen multiple videos from this guy, he winds up in court a lot because he breaks the law a lot. He does a lot of hunting and fishing without a license on his property, or on public property rather, and gets in trouble for it, among other things. And he claims he doesn't need these things. He lives in a cabin out in the woods, and I don't know if he's self-sustaining, I don't know if he's on the grid, or if he has a generator or what. Either way, he's of the opinion, the false opinion, the false impression, whatever you want to call it, that if you are a lawyer, if you pass your bars and become a lawyer, become a member of the Bar Association, that is a British institution. Now, our legal system takes a ton of stuff from the UK because the United States started as a colony of Great Britain, at least the United States as we understand it today. I'm not talking about indigenous peoples, of course, I'm talking about the colonists that the United States ended up growing out of. Yeah, a lot of that stuff from our legal system comes from the UK, and for some reason, he thinks this means that when you get Esquire, which if you're a lawyer, you can add Esquire to your name, he believes that this is like a title of British nobility, and therefore they shouldn't have standing in U.S. court if you're a lawyer. It doesn't make any sense, because it's based on a ton of false premises, but that's what he's saying right now.
Why is title of nobility applied behind this gentleman's name that is recognized as being banned from our country in the 1789 Constitution? Is nobody going to stand for our Constitution?
Allow this. I'm telling you.
I cannot, ma'am. In honor of the Constitution of the United States, I cannot allow a man who carries British recognition for the purposes of British ministerial law to continue to persecute me. I cannot, ma'am. I have to honor the founders, ma'am. I honor the memory of those who fought and died that we could be free of this very type of thing.
You'll be taken up to the jury room where you may watch the proceedings.
Stand up.
I have reminded you.
If I stand up, I give you recognition. No, pick me up. I cannot give you recognition.
Pick me up.
The United States Constitution of 1789. Sir, you're a Bozeman native. What are you doing back in a British recognition? Should be ashamed of yourself. Gentlemen, this is an overthrow of the 1789 Constitution, an overthrow of the Bill of Rights. It is an overthrow of Title 26 United States Code, and above all,
it almost feels like a bit from like a Parks and Recreation episode or something. But he's a real guy. He's a real guy.
It's an overthrow of universal law. Would one of you remove my bolo tie and return it to somebody in the crowd, please, so that it doesn't disappear from this place? We'll take care of that moment.
Why do you think someone's gonna steal your bolo tie? I'd be more concerned about the hat. That's a pretty sweet tri-corner hat.
Okay. See to it my stuff makes it back in my bag. I do have a duly appointed court representative, ma'am. He has made his way through everything. Okay. He will speak as my voice. No, ma'am.
Oh no, it's a compilation. Okay, fine, we'll keep going.
I stand as myself and speak for myself in myself.
He does this at his local court all the time. So there are multiple videos online of him doing this.
And I am not the trustee over the all caps name that you're operating on.
Well, you're here in court today because you were charged with some charges.
I'm here.
It's the same judge, like, every time, too, which makes me think he lives in, like, a really, really small town with basically one judge. It's always her. I always feel bad for her.
Court today because I am making a special visitation. This is not an appearance, only spirits appear. Living men, living persons make special visitation. That's why I'm here, to make sure that you guys don't tander my truthful, proper name.
Do you still live at 28 Flying Eagle in Manhattan?
That is a storage unit that I sleep in from time to time.
All right.
I live in myself in this body.
I live in myself in this body.
I'm the living man.
Mr. Falgate, you were here. You were seen by Mr. Cutts on 9/3 of 13, and you asked, at that time he appointed you a public defender. Did you apply for the public defender?
What use have I for a voice of ruin? They can only speak fictitious legalese to you. I speak natural living man's English to you. It's called common English. That's the only thing that I work in.
That's fine.
There will be no legalese used here.
Well, you were charged on the 31st of August of 2013 with obstructing a police officer in violation of 457302. You were also charged on the same date with resisting arrest in violation of 457301 of the Montana Code.
Those men were charged by me right back by staging an overthrow of the Constitution of 1789, an overthrow of the Bill of Rights.
You're gonna charge me with resisting arrest? I'll charge all of you!
An overthrow of my rights to forage for food as a natural living person who was in hunger. I was searching for something to put in my stomach, as I am recognized to be allowed to do by universal law. Has nothing to do with your corporate fiction. They violated everything, and furthermore,
he was poaching. He was poaching game on land that he didn't own, and they arrested him.
Capitalism.
For your knowledge,
Lord Necro JZ, thank you for subscribing. I'll get to the bits, messages, and stuff in a little bit.
they violated Judge Holly Brown's Title 26 United States Code ruling, which I went before her and prevailed on 21st March 2011. DPO 9-58A is the case number wherein she evidenced that I am not a taxpayer because I am not a federal citizen. Federal law trumps state law at every...
He just, admitted to not paying taxes in court. Bold strategy. Wolfie636, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Thank you for the Bezos bucks.
I have 9 judge rulings to that end, when that trumps state law. I am not registered crap. I am the living man, and I have the right to forage for food when I'm hungry.
All right. But you're here on different charges.
That
This is not
what
Holly
stands.
Brown's courtroom.
Ma'am, you can argue this all day long. You're operating on a corporate fiction.
I'm telling you, you're here on some charges which were filed in Three Forks.
I do not
Number
understand
one.
those charges.
Number one, you keep interrupting me, and I'm going to charge you with contempt, and you'll go to
All
jail.
contempt of court is spelled C-O-double-N. I know about conning. That's navigation.
Sir,
Contempt is the storm.
I said, be
Don't
quiet
touch me.
until I get
Don't
through
touch
reading
me.
this
You
to
ain't a god. Don't you touch me. I am the living man protected by universal law.
You keep
stand
talking,
down.
and you're going to be charged with contempt, and you're going to go to jail.
You have already contempted this place.
No, I told
by
you
the
I
fraud
would if
you're
you
trying
didn't
to
quit
get done
talking.
here. These are the living witnesses to what you're trying to do.
Very
You
good.
are trying to create a fictitious, fraudulent action. You are trying to bilk the Federal Reserve by
Sir.
securitizing in all caps commercialized name
Sir.
and notifying
Would you remove
them
him from the
that
court?
they are standing in debt now. If you touch me, you will violate natural law. Do not come near me. I am
Then
protected
shush.
by the land.
Shush.
Do not tell me to shut up. I am the living natural man, and my voice will be heard. That is the...
Yeah, yelling at the judge is, not a great strategy.
Jolly Roger. That thing you call the American flag with the gold fringe around it is the Jolly Roger, and you are acting as one of its privateers.
Okay, you're here on the charge of arrest.
I'm
resisting
here by
arrest.
special visitation.
Right. And you're
I've
here
never
on
let you get away with
obstructing
this.
a
You bet
police
I'm here.
officer. To each charge, could be up to a $500 fine, up to 6 months in jail.
I do not understand any charges. I only understand universal law and the right to live.
Well, you
To
pled
live in
not
peace
guilty.
and to live as I need to.
You pled not guilty in this.
I never plead.
He surprisingly actually doesn't get arrested in this one, even though he screams at the judge. He walks out of the courtroom and leaves.
Animals plead sound like bah, oink oink.
I have a paper with your signature on it.
It says prime evidence standing right through it. You bring forward all natural forms of evidence that I'm not prime evidence. I am the living soil. The dirt, the water, and the air has its own voice, does it not? It all supports
Sir?
forms of life, does it not? I am a part of that life. I am not your corporate fiction.
Sir,
Do not hinder me.
you're here today on an omnibus hearing. You've already pled not
I am
guilty.
here by special visitation to see to it that you do not tainter my natural living
One
man's
sec, let me
name.
click on it.
Are
See
you
what it is.
prepared
That's
to
why
tell
I'm
the
here.
court if you wish to go to trial on this matter?
This is a trial. Tell
No,
me it's
this
not.
isn't a trial.
Here's my
This is
jury
an
of my
omnibus
peers.
hearing, sir.
You cannot produce a jury of my peers because all juries are selected from a pool of registered voters, and the instant a person registers to vote, their natural ability as a peer to comprehend natural law has been dissolved and turned into fiction. There
I have no peers, because I didn't register to vote.
cannot be raised a jury of my peers. It cannot be done.
Excuse me for just a moment.
No way. Get back here and finish this. Hey, get back here and finish this. The judge has left the courtroom. There you go.
You won.
Yeah.
There is nobody in this courtroom.
Yeah.
The judge has
Yeah.
walked out.
The judge has walked out.
I
Everybody up
said
and
no
out.
excuse.
Everybody up and out.
I'm not letting...
If the judge isn't here within 15 minutes, we can all leave early.
Up and out. Up and out. Up and out. Follow the man. Get your hand.
Just a little contempt of court, as a treat.
What's that? You're ready to see history here.
Thank you.
I've seen it before.
And then he just leaves.
Harm.
The living man is so interesting. Is he still alive? Oh, he's arrested in this one too. Oh, he gets tackled. Oh no.
You are in contempt, Mr. Trafalgar.
No,
If
I'm
you
not.
don't be quiet right now,
You
I
are
will
in
have you
contempt
arrested.
of law, Stormy. You're in contempt of law. I'm standing for my
Officer
country's
Hines.
constitution.
This is a different judge this time.
My
Take Mr.
country's
Trafalgar
people.
into custody, please.
Oh, this judge isn't having any of his shit.
And I'm not keeping hands off me, I'm private property.
If you interfere, you're
Keep your
going
hands
with
off of me.
Do we understand?
Keep your hands off of me. Keep your hands off of me. Keep your hands off of me. Clinton Hines, you are guilty of conducting a military crime of war.
I'm an officer.
Ooh!
Don't hurt him.
What are we doing?
Oh, he's fighting the cop! Don't do that!
Leave me alone, Clinton.
He's lucky he's a white guy. This would end very differently if he wasn't.
This man.
He's trying to wrestle him.
This is unlawful, unconstitutional. He made his choice.
Leave me alone, Clinton. I have done no wrongs here.
He hasn't done any wrong.
So I'm going to get hurt.
Why has no one been able to tell him what wrongs he's done? Doing me harm.
Jesus Christ!
Why has no one been able to tell him what wrongs he's done?
Back off! Are you getting in it?
I'm backing off. Respect.
The judge is just like, what's going on in here? Someone gonna call a second bailiff? Looks like he might need some help. Stop! You violated the law! Pay the fine or
Our freedom is being stolen. This is slavery. We're being pushed off this land.
I'm going to find you in contempt as well.
Why should I put my hands behind my back when I've done no wrong? Listen, I'm afraid you're going to break my wrist and damage my shoulder. I am not establishing contract.
I stand on a solid foundation being my Constitution and my Bible.
You people
Which I
remove my
love.
materials.
I love my country and I love my freedom. What are the procedures to follow?
Oh. He never learns. He never learns. Let me get to some of these bit messages. Let's see. I know this is more Chud Watch material, but if you haven't yet watched this PragerU video, which they unironically defend slavery, yeah, that'll be for Chud Watch Monday. Tucker White 94 with 20 bits, so basically more conspiracy is on par with Sinbad Shazam. Twitch Bite, thank you for following. Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. The Living Man sounds like the name you'd give an Indian chief in a Western film. How is this real? Demi Ken 89, thank you for following. Inventors with thank you for hosting. Razzle Hex, thank you for following. Canadian Left support with 20 bits. This judge is being super lenient right here. Many judges wouldn't allow this and would remove him, yeah. I think they recognize something's, you know. I don't know. He's certainly not typical, I'll say that. Tucker White with 20 bits. Wikipedia. In the United States, Esquire is mostly used to denote a lawyer and a departure from the traditional use and is irrespective of gender. In letters, a lawyer is customarily addressed by adding the suffix Esquire, abbreviated ESQ, preceded by a comma after the lawyer's full name. Enreath with 30 bits. Will someone remove my bolo tie? Enreath with another 30 bits. He sounds like a cartoon character. Lord Necro JZ, thank you for resubscribing. 2 down and 1 more to go. Wolfie636, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Fier Fritas, thank you for following. Canadian Left Support with 20 bits. He's gonna want to keep talking here to preserve the court's record for his spiritual court appeal. Radar, thank you for following. Tucker White 94 with 20 bits. I'm just waiting for the living man to pull a Charles Manson in charge at the judge. Amoramiku with 50 bits. What are your thoughts on next year's Super Sentai design? I feel like it's a fun callback. I'll look at that in a sec. Astral Storm, thank you for subscribing. And Pulp Free Fiction with 20 bits. Also, this is more Chudwatch stuff, but did you see PragerU where they unironically go 1350? I've seen videos where they do that, for sure. Oh, interesting. Oh, man, they're dressed like the Rangers look like past Megazords. That is so bizarre. Jeez, I wonder if Power Rangers is going to adapt this season, because those are some wild-looking outfits, even for, you know, Sentai standards. They look like Megazords. Or whatever they call them in Sentai. I only watch Power Rangers, not Sentai, so. I like this main one, though. Very cool. Let me see what... oh, God. Sovereign citizen auditor arrested in police station.
Police report says any more stupid shit. Come.
Hi, kitty. Yeah. You want to come up on the table? Come on. Yeah? No? Come on. No?
There's Central
Okay.
Records. Christ, it smells like weed down here. Hi. It's not a private police department. It's a public police department. This is a public area. This is no, it's my property, sir. This is a public area.
Not record in the
This is a public area.
It is not.
No, the Supreme Court's already decided on this.
Case law says you cannot record.
No, it doesn't.
Absolutely.
You can record the police in public when they are, you know, doing their job. Yes. You can absolutely record the police, and I would recommend you do so, because accountability is always good. The Mannequin, thank you for raiding. Welcome, 8 raiders. Go check out the Mannequin here on Twitch. So yeah, the Supreme Court has ruled, yeah, you can record police officers while they're doing their jobs, but that's, like, out in public, right? Within police stations, it's a different thing. I've seen the same thing when they try and go, I've seen some of these First Amendment auditors try and go into the post office and film. Basically, when you're in, like, a federal building or a government building, it gets different, right? These are public locations, but they aren't public in the sense that a park is public. You can't just be filming. I think part of that's a security concern. They don't want people scoping the place out for crimes or, you know, hurting other people. Like the courtroom in my city, for instance. The courthouse here where I live, I've done jury duty and been called to it multiple times. So I've been to the courthouse, and you are not allowed to record in the courthouse anywhere in it. And you're not even allowed to bring your phones into the building because of concerns about recording. So yeah, federal buildings or any sort of governmental building, they can ban you from doing recordings in there. That said, if you want to record the cops when they're outside in public doing their job, absolutely do that, right? It's good to keep people accountable. But like going in with a giant 4K camera and just harassing, yeah, that's not going to end well for anyone. Don't do that.
No, get off of my equipment. Get off of my equipment.
You're under arrest. For what? Interfering with a police officer.
Interfering with the... You're stealing my equipment.
Put your hands behind your back.
You're stealing my...
Oh, poor puppy. Why did he involve a dog in this shit, too? Come on. If you're gonna be a jackass, don't bring your dog. Come on. Hey. Welcome, kitty. Don't push any of the buttons, please, as you tend to do.
Came down here to get an employee complaint form against you. I'm not resisting you. There's no need to do that. I put my hands behind my back, didn't I? No, you're not going to do that. You're obviously violating the law right now.
Stop! You violated the law.
I'm not resisting. My dog is attached to me. No, he's mine. He's my service dog. Don't separate him from me. Dude, you're in so much trouble. You are totally in the wrong right now. You're witness to this. Where is C.L. Weary's badge number 121. You're witness to this. He broke the law yesterday, and now he's doing it again. This is a public lobby. I've heard from your deputy chief that it's okay to come in here and record. He told me that on my front doorstep. And you're placing me under arrest unlawfully right now. Dude, you're already...
Yeah, you missed the Kent Hovind thing, sorry.
From Loveless case. You are.
I don't even know what's happening
He's
right
my
there.
service dog. Don't separate him from me. Dude, you're in so much trouble. You're totally in the wrong right now. You're witness to this. Weary's, C.L. Weary's, badge number 121. You're witness to this. He broke the law yesterday, and now he's doing it again. This is a public lobby. I've heard from your deputy chief that it's okay to come in here and record. He told me that on my front doorstep. And you're placing me under arrest unlawfully right now. Dude, you're already getting sued in federal court. I know it from Loveless case. You are. And you're going to get it again. Yeah, you had to stop the recorder because that was a real big threat to you, right? A video camera? Is your video camera rolling? Yep. Good. I'll be FOIA requesting that. I was coming down here to do a public request, and I videotaped that public request. He immediately told me it was a private police department, and it's not. This is a city fucking property. It's a public property. He's my dog, dude. You're not separating me from him. I need him.
Oh.
Police report. It says any more stuff.
Kitty did that. She likes to hit buttons on the keyboard.
What are you doing?
What's the reason for the red and white lights?
What's the reason for giving us the finger?
Well, that says red light is danger, hazard, and blue is life-threatening. What's the reason for the life-threatening emergency?
To pull you over because I did a U-turn.
Oh, Kitty.
You did an illegal U-turn. What's the emergency?
We're coming to check out why you've given us the finger.
Well, okay, so if you can come over to the car for a sec, I'll answer. No, I don't answer your questions, okay? See, why do you have the Freemason black and white square on your car, and why is it signified the binary watermark?
Oh,
and
no.
why do you have the Roman wreath on your shoulders? And why do you have the dual cross, the arches on the crown there? And why do you have the Rothschild red cross on top of your fucking crown? Okay? And why were you sitting in the middle of the road with your blue and red lights on? And why are you a subdivision of the New South Wales Treasury Corporation, which is a foreign person listed on USEC, United States Securities and Exchange Commission? Okay?
Sir, you need to listen, okay?
Securities and Exchange Commission is an American thing. Do they have a Security and Exchange Commission that's named that in Australia? I assume it would be called something else.
I don't need to listen to anything. Have I committed a crime? Is there a complainant against me? Is there someone who suffered harm, injury, or loss?
Can you just stop talking?
Is there someone who suffered harm, injury, or loss?
Can you
Okay?
please
Putting your hand out in front of my face, right, is not polite. It's not even...
You've been doing the same thing. You're going, why do you have this? Why do you have this? So
I was standing more than 2 metres away from you, okay? So you're not...
same distance.
No, I wasn't. I was standing over here, okay?
And then you come over here.
Now you're trying to act like you've got some kind of authority. Yeah, okay, so okay. So AU is gold. It's the scientific symbol for gold, the atomic weight. Thor is God, and I is people.
Okay,
are you saying...
just shut up.
No, I'm not going to...
Alright, this guy needs some mental health care. He doesn't need the police to arrest him. He needs to be medicated, probably, because this is some out there stuff.
Shut up. I don't have to listen to what you're saying.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Okay, so cite the legislation that, with a certificate of proclamation, which conforms to Imperial Acts, Section 58 of the Constitution. Okay, so you wouldn't even have a fucking clue what I'm talking about, okay? Cite the legislation. No.
How can we get anywhere?
Because re means un. To rewind means to undo, okay? And spect is cite. So no cite. You just said, can I have some no cite for you guys? Okay, I'm studying Vulgate Latin.
What is your name? Okay.
Joseph.
Okay, Joseph. We stopped you. Okay.
Was I swerving?
Can you just listen?
Was I swerving? Was I operating?
You do not
Was
need
I
to be
operating
swerving
that
the car?
car?
for us to
Was
pull
I
you
operating
over.
that car? Excuse me, what?
You do not need to be swerving a vehicle for us
You
to
need
pull
probable cause.
Okay, you were the driver of a vehicle on a New South Wales road.
Okay, vehicle in
Under the
vehicle.
road, listen to me. Under
Excuse me. Excuse me. Under the Chicago Styles Manual.
Okay,
now, hang on. No, I'm not going to listen to you. Under the Chicago Styles Manual, a vehicle is where the word in English car has been converted into vehicle. You're registered to the United States Securities and Exchange Commission.
We're in
Excuse me.
Australia.
Excuse me.
We're in Australia.
Excuse me.
Okay,
If I
under
read,
New
excuse
South
me.
Wales law.
Excuse me. New South Wales.
He's one of these people who thinks that, like similar to the Marcel Bissett that we saw at the beginning of the stream if you were here for the whole thing. If you didn't, he's a Canadian sovereign citizen, and he believes that Canada's government is secretly an American corporation, so this guy probably also thinks Australia is a American corporation for some reason. I think that just comes out of a lot of the sovereign citizen stuff comes from the United States, originates with sovereign citizens in the United States. So United States sovereign citizens will say things along the lines of the federal government is a United States-based corporation.
That's right.
And I think sovereign citizens from places other than the United States just, like, take that exact wording and don't really think about it. Like, they don't say, oh, Australia's an Australia-based corporation. They say it's still an American-based corporation. Don't know why. Don't know why they say that. It's not, if I need to clarify.
New South Wales is a political body, okay? I'm not a member of the New South Wales political body. Okay. Now, hang on a sec. Okay, so what I'm saying is there's a magistrate in the Supreme Court. I've served him with a notice judicial review, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
No. Excuse me. He said, good luck with your appeal. Right? He said something in Latin, and then
Is this something that's happened before?
Sorry?
Is this happened to you?
I'm telling you that if I registered to New South Wales, I'm owned by the state, okay? They have the equity. Do you know about trust law? Legal. Hang on a sec. Hang on. No, you mentioned New South Wales.
So you're
No, you're not listening. You're not listening. You said, hang on a sec. You're not listening. New South Wales. No, we're talking. You're not going to try and interrupt the conversation.
What you're saying.
No,
is off topic,
No,
okay?
it's not off topic.
It's off topic.
New South Wales is a subdivision. New South Wales Police is a subdivision.
What are you arguing over?
Your comprehension is below what I'm talking about. Your comprehension is below what I'm talking about.
You've been put in for a random breath test and you're just arguing.
You don't understand what I'm saying, okay? She made a statement. She made a statement. I've got 3 people having a conversation, and this guy's sticking this shit in my face. I don't consent to it. Do you understand? I don't consent to it. Why do you have a blue and white script? What's a slipcoat tart?
We've got every right
What's
to
a
pull you over.
slipcoat tart?
Listen.
You don't
Wait,
have any right.
shut up and
Don't
listen.
raise your voice, mate. You're escalating it. 6th of November 1999. Yet we've got the Parliament, the business trust in Canberra telling us that we're a country. We're not. That means you're operating illegally. That means the New South Wales Police are an unlawful entity. The Constitution says no state may maintain a force. When did the service get converted to a force? What does the word police mean? Where does it come from? You don't know, do you? No, it's completely irrelevant. Because you're a constable, right? You're supposed to be part of a constabulary. The constabulary doesn't exist anymore, so therefore you have no authority to act under the Queen. Well, you're an officer of the court, and the court is registered on USEC, United States Securities and Exchange Commission. Do you understand that?
So what was your name again? Sorry.
Joseph.
So Joseph, all we were doing, okay, was stopping you for the purpose of a random breath test.
Okay, so do you have a certificate of proclamation for the legislation you're relying upon? It's a simple question. Do you have a certificate of proclamation?
So no, I don't have a certificate.
You don't know what I'm talking about. New South Wales Police is operating under an ABN. Certificate of proclamations. It shouldn't say the Queen, right? It should say Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, heirs and successors. I'm asking you a question.
Okay, well, are you going to?
I'm happy to comply with everything you say, as long as you show me a certificate of proclamation for legislation you're relying upon. I'm complying with everything you want, as long as you can show me the certificate of proclamation.
I'm not showing you a certificate of proclamation, whatever you're talking about.
You've never heard of it before, have you?
I'm asking for your driver's license.
Do you know the difference between a bill and act of statute?
Mate, I'm asking for your driver's
I'm
license.
happy to give it to you.
If you refuse to
I'm
give
not
it to
refusing
me,
at all.
I'll arrest you
Mate,
and take you back to the police
I'm happy
station.
to comply with everything you want.
I'm not going to give you a certificate. Give me your driver's license.
Can you cite the legislation with the certificate of proclamation?
Okay.
Can you do it? Mate, I'm happy to do whatever you want.
Do you want to be under arrest? Because I'm quite happy to place you under arrest, okay?
So what you're saying is...
You're failing to take part in a roadside breath test.
No, he's already breath tested. No, now you actually committed perjury because he's actually breath tested me with this little fucking thing he stuck in my face. Do you know what?
Okay, that's offensive language as well.
It's in the English dictionary.
Okay, you're under arrest for offensive language.
I'm under arrest for offensive language.
Take that.
Okay.
Take that down.
Can you be arrested in Australia for offensive language? I gotta say, that's pretty fucking stupid. I feel like there were definitely other things they could have arrested that dude for if they really wanted to.
Go ahead, and I've explained to you, address me that way. I explained to you, you asked me, do you have a right to have your charges explained? I told you yes, 2020. 11.
Evidence of jurisdiction.
I think we've done that one.
We'll figure it out real fast.
Sorry, that was very loud.
Mr. DeWitt, access to the new law offense. Action on appropriate motions they wish to file.
Jeremy DeWitt's back in court for people who've followed me and know about Jeremy DeWitt. I don't have a lot to say about it, but just, you know. Okay, we're probably gonna call it a day for Sovereign Citizen Saturday. Let me see who I can raid. Let me go through these bit messages first. Oh god. Thrash Mio. In short, Area 51 is public property. Thrash Mio. How much dono for kitty cam? Here's the kitty. For free. Innsmouth Swim Team with 100 bits. Kitty is helping Mum push the buttons. Drummer 1122, thanks for following. Ricky 26K, thanks for following. That XY Girl with 50 and then 20 bits. Australia Sovereign Cits can sometimes originate from the UK Freemen of the Land movements. There's a lot of crossover because a lot of their stuff they learn online. Mentioned the Queen, he's a Freeman of the Land. Daddy Sume with 20 bits. I follow you, but I don't remember who Jeremy DeWitt is. Remind me. He was the police impersonator. He's been dealing with a bunch of stuff. I can raid Left Flank Vets. They're an amazing political Twitch streamer. Okay. Not familiar. Let me take a look. Left Flank Vets. Saturday Night Sedition.
Said, do you want to hop into our first story?
Yeah, let's do the
Sure.
Ford Fisher thread on the Nashville.
So thanks everyone for coming to the stream.
For
If you came,
that aren't
if you came during the raids, I appreciate it. If you liked what you saw, give me a follow. I'll be back tomorrow for something. I'm not sure what I'll be doing. Maybe a wheel stream where we kind of look at a smattering of all sorts of different stuff. Monday, I'll be doing Chud Watch, where I'll be going over a bunch of right-wing MAGA cope and all sorts of interesting stuff from them after the holidays. So, yeah. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Enjoy this stream from Left Flank Vets, who I'm going to watch too, I think, because I'm not familiar. I've never watched them before. What time tomorrow? Probably around 4. Between 4 and 5 is usually when I go. Isn't Jake streaming now as well? Oh, I don't know. He might be. Yeah. Have a good night, everyone. Chat is valid as always. See you guys next time.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
An independent journalist